Hey everyone, welcome to Super Magical Cup number 6. Oh, what a nice Saturday day it is. Today, it's just going to be me alone, just Rainy. The empty seat here, Rumham, is away for the weekend, so you guys are just going to have to bear with just me casting. So if you guys have not watched the Super Magical Cup before, we are a weekly community tournament for Clash Royale, and we just put some Clash Royale competitors together and have them face off to see who is the top winner in the meta currently. So with that, number 6 will be just as exciting. In the previous Super Magical Cup, in Super Magical Cup number 5, we had very interesting results. Clark Kent, who was a participant who had played in the Super Magical Cup before, made a return. After a long hiatus, he made a return, and he did very well, taking that first place finish, pushing him up on our very own leaderboard, which you can see here. You can see that currently Woody is still the top placing player in the Super Magical Cup. At 2,000 points, Clark Kent, with his first place finish, caught up very, very fast, and he's at 1750. Manufan was a big hit when he entered the tournament scene. In Super Magical Cup number 5 was his third tournament that he attended. Unfortunately, did not make the top 2, but the 2 times he attended before that, he got a first place finish and a second place finish, and then he got a top 8 finish. So Manufan will be third place on the board. And then following that, we have Scrazzer, the player who defeated Manufan in Super Magical Cup number 4, I believe it was. He's 4th place on the leaderboard. And interestingly enough, Ryguy, I do believe he is in the tournament again. So Ryguy played in one tournament, as far as I know, Super Magical Cup number 2, and he ended up beating Woody, or rather he ended up beating Clark Kent, I believe it was, to take the first place finish. And then we just haven't seen him ever since, but now he is back. He is back, so we'll see. We'll see what Ryguy can do. Will he be the first one to take 2 first place finishes? Now, interesting to note that nobody who has attended the Super Magical Cup so far has been able to take first place twice. Maybe we'll see that today. Maybe we'll see that today. All right, so the countdown has finished, but there's just a few things that I wanted to tell you guys before we get started with the tournament. First of all, as with every Super Magical Cup, we do giveaways, we do raffles, and we're going to be kicking off the stream with a raffle to open things up. Now, pay attention closely, because there are a few things that you need to know if you want to take part in the raffle. Everybody is welcome to answer the question. Everybody is welcome to participate. But if you want to receive the pricing, if you want to receive, allow us to fulfill that pricing, if you're using iTunes, you must be in the United States. We cannot, unfortunately, we just can't fulfill pricing to people outside of the United States if they are using iTunes accounts. If you're using Google Play or Android, then anywhere we can fulfill internationally. So you don't have to be in the United States for Google Play, but that is the case for iTunes. So keep that in mind. Let's get started with the raffles. The first question. Now, if you guys haven't done this before, what you have to do is type into the chat !raffle space and then your answer to this question that I'm about to say. So the first question is, what deck is the most fun to play for you and why? What deck is the most fun to play for you and why? So I'm going to go ahead and open up the raffle. Type !raffle and the answer to that question posted in chat. What deck is the most fun for you to play and why? So with that out of the way, that's a lot of stuff. We're going to jump right into the games as soon as we can. And unfortunately, guys, yes, I know it's very sad. Rumham isn't here. His commentary is always great. He always provides great insight, and he's just very excited about the games all the time. But everybody needs a break at some point in their life, and Rumham taking a very well-deserved break from the Super Magical Cup. Not to fear, he will be back. So you guys have not seen the last of the Rumham. So with that being said, let's go ahead and take a look at our first match. Now remember, guys, we are just in pool play. So we'll see a bunch of games, and then after all of that is done, we'll see who advances out of their clans to begin playing in the playoffs. So let's see this first match. Now, my experience has told me that, oh my goodness, why is that doing that? Oh my god, it offset itself. Excuse me, guys, for some technical difficulties here. The match preview is being very, very bad. There we go. Nope, that's still not it. Alright, we're gonna have to fix our match preview. I'm sorry that this happened. Let's see. We're gonna have to take the screen grab entirely. So, that's not gonna work. Give me 1 second to fix this stuff. Let's watch this first match, and then I will fix the match preview after we know the results of the match so nothing gets spoiled. So, hopping right into the game, let's check out what happens. Achan versus Goku. Now, we've seen Achan play before in Super Magical Cup number 5, and they did fairly well for themselves. They went pretty far in the tournament, but let's see if they can repeat the performance this time around. Sorry about the deck preview mix-ups. That's unfortunate, but we'll get that fixed as soon as we can. So, Ice Wizard, Sparky, and Goblins to attack the Elixir Collector drop, and let's see what Achan has. Leaking a lot of Elixir. Oh, it might be the wrong... Actually, this is perfect. I think it's the wrong opponent. Cool. Perfect. This is great. This is great. Woo! We are off to a great start. So, we're going to take this moment to fix the match preview, because some things changed and knocked the match preview off alignment. Sorry about that. Let's just go ahead and add this screen capture. Oh no, that's wrong. That's not what we want. We're going to add game capture of this. Sorry about that, guys. We're doing this live. Okay. So, remember the raffle question. And do exclamation mark raffle. Alright, look at that. We're already doing very well. Alright, that means this has to come down a little bit. Perfect! Now we have our match preview, and it's great that the first match was actually a flub match. So, woo! What deck is the most fun to play for you and why? That is the first raffle question. So, exclamation mark raffle and do that. So, let's jump into our first match that could actually be a real match. Alright, let's take a look at this match preview. Alright, we got Grego LP versus DCV. Interesting. Grego is using a witch. I don't think I've seen a witch in forever. And the other thing to note about that, sorry, it gets pretty hot in here. The other thing to note is the witch actually got buffed quite significantly along with the skeleton. So that's kind of like two big parts of the witch that got improved. Meanwhile, on DCV's side, a balloon deck with the baby dragon to assist, and then some interesting use of cannon, minion, skeleton for defense with barbarian. I'm expecting against Hog. Free zap is the assisting spells. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that game plays out. Let's get into it. And here we go. First match of the tournament. First match of the tournament. Okay. Let's see. Baby Dragon on the right, Royal Giant on the left. This is interesting. They're basically going to smash into each other's towers and see who does more damage. So the Baby Dragon isn't normally that strong. Oh! And the Fire Spirits get zapped out, and Grego is going to opt to use the arrows to clean that up. And those are really strong arrows. They did a lot of damage to the Baby Dragon. Royal Giant gets stopped up by the cannon, but the Barbarians will chew up the Royal Giant before it gets any significant damage on the left side tower, and Grego LP actually lost a lot of health on that Baby Dragon minion push. That was quite impressive. I think Grego going for the Fire Spirits was great, but DCV was ready with the zap, and that really, really hurt Grego. The fact that zap came in. Good zap is just so great as an offensive assist. And now this time, Grego is going to opt to put the Royal Giant on the same side as the Baby Dragon, so he does not want to take that challenge. He doesn't want to challenge DCV again. He says, I'm not going to race you for tower damage. Balloon on the left side, but there's nothing tanking for it. And let's see what Grego can do to stop it. Spear Goblins, I think, are going to be enough to stop from the Balloon getting a swing off. Oh, and it does get one hit, and the bomb gets dropped on top of it. Royal Giant makes its way through the cannon. Does a lot of damage to the right side tower, and the Witch still persists. Now minions are going to take down the group of units here because the Witch is already locked onto the tower. Nice. DCV drops units on top of the Valkyrie, and the Valkyrie just eliminates them immediately. No zap this time for the Fire Spirits, and so the minions will be taken care of handily. This Fire Spirit gets one shot. Equal towers will one shot a Fire Spirit. Royal Giant in the back. And we hit double elixir time, so Grego can put a big push down. Balloon coming on the left side. He's going to use the Witch and maybe the Spear Goblins. He needs something else, but the freeze is on hand. There it is. Oh my god, the freeze. Oh god, and the Ice Wizard just comes out now. Now the freeze dissipates, but one big swing from the Balloon onto the left side tower. This time, though, Grego on the right with his Royal Giant. The cannon wasn't timed well. And the Royal Giant will take down the right side tower, and another Royal Giant on the left, but Barbarians are going to chew through that Royal Giant as quickly as they can. There it does fall. 1k health on the left side tower for DCV, and here comes another Balloon, and he still does have the freeze and the zap. There's the freeze. The Ice Wizard is going to slow down the Balloon. He needs a zap. Ah, the Fire Spirits. No, there was no zap. Oh, just a moment too late. And DCV, man, I feel like DCV's offense, he just messed up on Royal Giant defense one time, and he got punished super hard for that. But look at how much damage he put onto the towers. I feel like if the execution was just a little bit better, I feel like DCV could have either evened up that game or extended it for a while. Tragic. A tragic loss. Let's keep moving here. So remember the raffle question. Taking care of handling. Oh man, you guys in chat are so awesome. There's the raffle question one more time. Exclamation mark raffle. Answer the question, what deck is the most fun to play for you and why? And we will be giving out buckets of gems today. So for each raffle question, we will find 3 winners. All right. Let's watch this match. No, I'm very wary of these particular matches. Let's watch this one. Let's go for this one. All right, match preview. Getting into the match preview. Harry Styles versus Ragas. Harry Styles is going to be running Double Prince Hog Rider. Wow, I don't think I've actually seen a deck of this nature. And Sparky on the other side. Oh my god. Rumham would know. We talk about this all the time. I want to see a Sparky deck be successful. I really do. So I'm curious to see how this match will turn out. Royal Giant Sparky combination. These decks are really strange. Royal Giant Sparky plus the Wizards. So Royal Giant Wizards is a little more standard. Barbarians and Valkyrie are standard defense. Doesn't have very much anti-air really. The only thing anti-air is the Inferno Tower, the Fire Spirits, and maybe the Zap. Other than that, all of them are ground units, so this looks like a very aggressive deck from Ragas. If he has to face air units, he's gonna have to basically just trade. So, alright. Let's go ahead and take a look at this match. Harry Styles versus Ragas. Here we go. Let's go ahead and watch it. In-game. Two very unique decks. We've got Double Prince Hog Rider. He's got the Elixir Collector too. You know, normally you see the P.E.K.K.A to assist, but I feel like P.E.K.K.A has been incredibly unpopular. The mini P.E.K.K.A has kind of been the card that has gained favor. Now, interesting to note too that both the princes are only level 2, they're not level 3. Neither are they level 4, so Royal Giant takes a ton of damage walking their way through, and it's already nearly dead by the time it gets to the tower. 1 shots, 2 shots, and the Wizard survives, and the Wizard is going to throw and Fireball. Maybe a second one. There we go. A lot of damage, and Harry Styles is going to opt to put the Elixir Collector down. So he's going to give away this tower health for the Elixir Collector. Main Horde to defend against the Valkyrie. Elixir inefficient, but he would take a lot of damage. Zap is going to make sure that none of the minion Horde really makes its way across, but good. It's going to be tanking, and even the Inferno Tower. And this is really, really good for Harry Styles, but I think it's just a little too late. No swings onto the tower. But Harry Styles does have the Elixir Collector down, so he is in a position to start snowballing. He can play something like Spear Goblins, or rather Spear Goblin Collector or Goblin Collector. He has some very cheap options if he wants to extend his Elixir Collector advantage. Here comes the appearance of Sparky. The first time that Harry Styles sees it, what will his reaction be? Now, putting a Royal Giant in front of that would be really strong. Prince makes his way, but oh goodness, goodbye. That Prince just got eliminated. Now he's going to play Dark Prince. Now remember, Minion Horde is going to be really, really, really strong. Ragas has a wizard, but the Royal Giant is already eliminated. And this shield works so well against Sparky, actually. One shot gets absolutely absorbed by the Dark Prince. Oh no, and the Spear Goblin's just a little bit too late. Tower down for Harry Styles. Executional error. It's so important that you defend well against the Sparky. And just letting that one shot get through. And Harry Styles is on the back foot now. He even played his Hog Rider into the Barbarians, which is not ideal. And here comes a second Sparky. And Sparky on defense could be kind of scary, but he has Zap. Okay, it's going to reset the charge. And notice how Sparky has to go all the way from step 1 again. One more hit. And the Sparky gets eliminated. The Hog Rider is coming through, but Barbarians are in hand. And Harry Styles just put off kilter just a little bit. I feel like Harry Styles' deck is pretty good. Ideally, he would have higher level princes, but I think he just has to clean up his execution a little bit, and I feel like he would have done really well against Ragas. Unfortunately, Ragas with a beautiful Sparky push will take the win against Harry Styles. Nice. It's always nice to see underused cards. I would say Sparky is quite underused. Underused cards being successful. I like that. I like that game. I wanted to see kind of how that Double Prince Hog Rider would have played out. That would have been really interesting to me. So, cool. All right. One more match here. We'll watch one more match. Goodness. Okay. One more match, and oh, this is going to be an interesting match. All right. I'm really excited about this. Okay. Let's watch Jeff versus Raintown in pool play. In pool play. Oh my goodness. One of them is going to be eliminated because they're having to face each other this early on in the tournament. Now Raintown is a player who has not necessarily found great success in the sense of getting to a top 4 or top 2 or a tournament win, but he's been consistently just fighting his way up to the top 8s over and over and over again, and kind of unable to surpass the likes of somebody like Woody or Manufan or even Clark Kent or Scrazzer. These players have all been tournament winners. Raintown has been a high-performing player, but not quite there. Jeff, in the last Super Magical Cup, in his first appearance, made it all the way to top 2, only to be defeated by Clark Kent. And now these two big-name players are facing off very early on in the tournament in pool play. So, let's take a look at the decks. Jeff has Miner, Cannon, Knight, Ice Wizard, Bomber, Musketeer. So, Ice Wizard, Musketeer, Cannon, Fireball, Bomber, these are great defensive cards. Knight, he has so many defensive cards. The way he's going to want to play is to defend well and then counter push with the Knight, or rather the Miner, to assist in tanking and see what he can do in terms of chipping damage. A very slow-paced kind of play style. All right. And let's take a look at Raintown's deck. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Princess, Royal Giant, Minion, Cannon, Fireball, Skeletons, and Zap. So, let's see if Raintown can come through and defeat these tournament winners. And actually, Easy Money is telling us in chat, just FYI, Raintown beat Clark in a $250 tournament just last Sunday. So these tournament competitors are really close, and I'm really glad to hear that Raintown is actually defeating these players, because so far in the Super Magical Cup it's been difficult for him to do that, but to see that he's playing at that level is really great. So after this match, we will be closing up that raffle, and I'll post that raffle question into chat one more time. Exclamation mark raffle space, what deck is the most fun to play for you and why? Buckets of gems to be awarded, but let's hop into this match now between Jeff and Raintown. All right. Yeah, Raintown has been grinding a lot. He participates in a lot of Super Magical Cups, and I know that he participates in a lot of other tournaments too. I wonder if this is maybe his tournament to win. Wow, aggressive Royal Giant. Very aggressive. at the bridge cannon, but it's placed a little bit late. The Royal Giant is already tagged to the tower. Fireball is going to clear out the minions, and the cannon almost gets dissipated by the minions, but pretty good attack by Raintown. Fairly good. All that's left over for Jeff is the Ice Wizard, and he's going to start making his way into the right side tower, but the damage is already done for Jeff. His right side tower is quite low. Knight to counter the Princess. Princess gets 2 shots. Not too bad for Raintown. I think he's going to be... Oh, no, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. walks away from the Knight. I don't know if that was intentional. Had to have wanted to draw Jeff's Knight into the middle, but that Mini P.E.K.K.A. just walks on and basically one-shots the Musketeer before getting taken down. And again, the Ice Wizard makes his way. He's going to get pushed over, and now the Ice Wizard tags onto the Royal Giant and ends up getting destroyed by the tower. Minion plus Royal Giant, and that cannon should fall very shortly. Bomber onto the Royal Giant, but he can't attack area. The minions will chew through it, and there's a big push by Raintown. Oh my god, Jeff, no! And one of the things we highlighted that was super important about Jeff's deck is he needs to defend efficiently because he doesn't have a very big aggression set of cards. These cards are not ones that you would imagine to one-shot a tower, right? It's not going to be like a P.E.K.K.A. double Prince or a big body combo, right? He really wants to make sure he defends well, pushes across, and gets decent, consistent damage for Raintown against Raintown's towers. But now that he has a tower down, that's going to be really difficult. Raintown can actually play incredibly defensively and even defend Elixir inefficiently a little bit because there's no reason for Raintown to push across the bridge at this point. Royal Giant placed aggressively, going to get a lot of shots onto the left side tower. Knight versus Mini P.E.K.K.A. and that's going to trade pretty evenly with the help of the King Tower. Miner on the right, plus the Musketeer. Minion and Princess devoted to the left, and the Ice Wizard is going to tank up a lot of shots. Skeletons to surround the Miner, and Mini P.E.K.K.A. for the Musketeer. And that was a pretty good push for Jeff, but he just doesn't have the capability to assist that push as much as he would like to. Royal Giant placed down again aggressively. And just so much damage, and nice. I like that execution from Jeff. He positioned his units to push the Royal Giant away so he saves damage on his left side tower. But the question is, can he do 594 health points worth in damage onto Raintown's right tower in 10 seconds? And I don't think that's very possible. He doesn't have fast moving units, and the cannon placed in front of it pretty much seals the deal. Raintown will actually take a game off of Jeff now. Important to note that in pool play, guys, we are playing best of 3. So I don't think we'll get to see the resolution of this match. We're just going to be jumping around to whatever we can find, but very interesting. Raintown takes a win off of Jeff. That's I hope to see. We'll see what happens later on in the stream. You know, which one survives and which one gets knocked out. So let's go to the end of the raffle. Let's close out the first raffle here. I'm gonna go ahead and go here, and the raffle is now closed, so no more entries, and we're gonna draw our first winners for the first question. What deck is the most fun to play for you and why? Let's draw the first winner here. Goblin Arrow Bait says Tiny Phantom 3, and he didn't write why. Make sure you guys answer the questions. I'm gonna give this guy his award, but technically if you don't fully answer the questions, you're not supposed to get a reward. So, just keep that in mind, Tiny Phantom 3. He said Goblin Arrow Bait. Goblin Arrow Bait. So, he likes to play a lot of small units and convince his opponent to use his arrows and then hoard him with a bunch of other small units. And that can be incredibly effective. Small units in Clash Royale generally are way more damaging and way more efficient. They just are very vulnerable to splash damage or spells of any sort. So, thank you for that answer, Tiny Phantom. Let's find our next winner is going to be, let's see who it is. Yachida. Make sure you follow the channel. Says Giant Skeleton because he blows stuff up. Giant Skeleton is a great card. I think it's underused because there's a lot of other cards that surround it that can handle it very well. Something as simple as a Mini P.E.K.K.A. behind really handles the Giant Skeleton in a very timely manner and also does not get hit by the resulting bomb. But I think it's a very fun card. I agree with you. Yachida. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Maybe one day you will have to teach me about that. So that is our second winner. And our last winner will be Mexon99. Mexon99 says, lately I've been rocking Cycle decks since I got Miner, and I like it the most. So he's been playing Cycle decks with the Miner, and he likes it the most. And that's been a very popular kind of deck so far. Very cheap deck, like maybe 3.1, 3.2 elixir cost decks, using the Miner to constantly just throw that tank over to the other side and just counter push all the time. The thing about the Miner is it's kind of like a spell. You play that 3 elixir and it's very easy for the Miner to just immediately tag onto the tower, and that's just guaranteed damage, right? It's as if you take a fireball 4 elixir, throw it at the tower. That's guaranteed, right? There's not really much that your opponent can do about it. It's just a matter of how do you justify that elixir. Can you throw that fireball and lose the splash damage and lose that elixir and not get counter pushed, right? So very good card to use on a cycle. Congratulations, Mexon, for winning. So in order to claim your prizes, if you win a giveaway, make sure you check your Twitch inbox. And if it isn't in your inbox, make sure you check the other tab. We have sent you messages to for the next steps for how you win your prizes. Congratulations to the first 3 winners, and we will be resetting the raffle, and immediately we will be starting the second one. So the second question, guys, make sure you're ready. The second question for the raffle, and we'll close it after another maybe 4 or 5 games, is what is a card or set of cards that beats you, and how? What is a card, or rather I should say, what is a card or set of cards that beats you the best? So what is the thing that you have the most difficulty against? What is a card or a set of cards that beats you, and how? So that is the question here. The raffle is now open. Exclamation mark raffle space answer the question. And we will be picking the winners randomly. Cool. So let's go ahead and take a look at more matches. Oh man, I'm really glad we got to see. Oh my god, is this real? We actually also get to see. All right, this is going to be very interesting. We get to see Woody playing too. Now, Woody is the mortar player. He is the definition of a siege player. He's been true, and not even just siege, he's been true to using the mortar through its nerfs, through all the hard times and the good times, and he's been a very consistently high placing player. Nihal the Great is not a name that I'm familiar with, maybe a new face, and Nihal has an interesting deck. It's got Hog Rider Freeze, so that's kind of the basis of the attack, but very expensive cards associated with it. Barbarians 5 elixirs, Minion Horde 5 elixir, Wizard is 5 elixir, Valkyrie is 4. Pretty expensive deck. I'm interested to see how he justifies the cost. So let's take a look. All right. Woody is a veteran player of the Super Magical Cup, and obviously, as you guys have seen on the leaderboard, he is the top placing player right now. Mortar gets placed down, Barbarians as an answer, and they're going to chew through the skeletons, but a good fireball on the Hog Rider and the Barbarians. Cleaned up handily, and then the Mortar tags onto the tower. Woody wins the first exchange. Look how much damage he's done already to the right side tower. Princess on defense against Minion Horde is fantastic, because not only do you clear out the Minion Horde, but unlike Zap or arrows, the Princess has its usefulness transferred across the battle. So you see how Valkyrie needed to be played to defend against the Princess. So Woody is forcing Nihal the Great's hand. 1.6k health left on the right side tower for Nihal, and that was just one mortar play that Woody did right in the opening. And he has another mortar on hand. Skeleton Fireball was his go-to defense against Barbarians. So now he's going to place down his mortar. He's got skeletons ready to go. And the Wizard will eliminate the skeletons immediately. And it gets tagged onto the mortar. But the combination of the cannon and the mortar will do tons of damage. And oh no, the Barbarians don't actually tank up the mortar shot. And the mortar is now tagged onto the tower. And again, we see the strength of just siege. Hog Rider gets placed, will get distracted. Nice Goblin push onto it. Went for the mortar, but then the Goblin pushed it over to the cannon. And Woody is awarded with another one shot from his mortar. 226. The efficiency that Woody plays with for his siege is just incredible. And now he's going to commit to the left side. Great. Rocket as an answer to the mortar. Doesn't get the tower, and that mortar is still going to get a shot on the left side tower. And Nihal the Great is down a lot of elixir now. Princess on the right took down the low health tower. And Woody just has a very, very strong grip on this game. Chump cards get arrowed down. Princess in the back. Maybe Barbarians to play as the answer. Oh no. The Princess does end up... that's a value rocket right there. But too little, too late for Nihil. And Woody can almost play anything. He's capped on Elixir while Nihil is just having trouble gaining Elixir on his own. Hog Rider gets torn up by skeletons and goblins, and the Valkyrie's not going to get anywhere with that Inferno Tower in front of it. Wizard either. And Woody might even take a second tower. He has the rocket in hand and he's going to go ahead and shoot that. Princess onto the minion horde, gets taken down. And oh my god, he threw the fireball too. And Woody's just throwing everything at Nihil the Great, and there's no reason not to. And that will be over. Woody continues to demonstrate why he is what I believe he is the premier Siege player currently in the competitive scene for Clash Royale so far. He's just, that was really tough. Just watching that game, I feel the pressure. Alright guys, just to remind you, I'm going to repost the raffle question in chat. What is a card or set of cards that beats you and how? And quite possibly, what is the card or set of cards that beats you the most and how? Alright, let's go ahead and watch more games here. Let's go ahead and watch more games in the match preview. Oh, I'm actually wary of this game. Man, it's hard to tell because... Okay. Alright, this is another player that made it to the top 8 in Super Magical Cup number 5. Baron Shadow. Baron Shadow, and he had a very... people enjoyed his name. We'll say that much. Alpi123 is his opponent, using a Hog Cycle with a Zap. Now he's got a few expensive cards. The Barbarian and Mini Horde at 5 Elixir are a little more on the expensive side, but it's just a little more solid defense, so he's kind of taking a medium road. He has the cheap cycle cards like Zap, Goblin, Spear Goblin with the Hog Rider to attack, and then he has solid defense with Fireball, Barbarians, and Minion Horde. So Baron Shadow on the other hand, Triple Musketeer. 3 Musketeer actually. 3 Musketeer. Not a very common set of cards. They did come into the meta for a while, but I think they're kind of... It's hard to justify them since tons of people, I feel like, are running Fireball. Lots of people run Fireball, and it hurts. Fireball hurts Triple Musketeer. Ice Wizard against Goblins. Nice, and that Minion Horde on top is actually going to take down that Ice Wizard. Well, pretty much. The Zap actually didn't even really save them. A good amount of damage. The Valkyrie is pretty tanky. 1.4k, and that actually was much more effective than I thought it would be. Inferno Tower tags onto the Goblins, though, and Baron gets an opening of his own. Mini P.E.K.K.A. to defend. Baron, or rather Alpi, makes a good connection, but Baron... That right side push was way more effective than I thought it should be. Barbarians against the Miner. He really just wants to make sure that that Miner gets nothing done. And Spear Goblins against the Mini P.E.K.K.A. That's a solid defense by Alpi. But now he needs to make sure he finds some way to make these Barbarians effective. Valkyrie in hand is going to be great at drawing the Barbarians away. And the way these Barbarians are coming at the Valkyrie is actually pretty good. Valkyrie is going to be able to kill the first Barbarian before he gets a swing off, and then eliminate the rest with its splash and take minimal damage. Alpi splits his Minion Horde. I like this because four minions on the right side is nothing to scoff at. Meanwhile, the 2 minions on the left, I don't think they're actually going to get anything done because Alpi opted not to assist it with any kind of units. Here goes my counter push. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Miner. Great synergy, but again, I think the timing was just a little bit off for Alpi, or rather for Baron. But the Miner makes a big connection. Minion Horde now placed down for the Miner. And again, it's just... I mean, that just goes to show how strong the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Miner combination is. Even though the Miner wasn't tanking the tower shots, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. was tanking the tower shots. The Spear Goblins that got rid of the Mini P.E.K.K.A. just walked off on their own, and the Miner just continually just started flapping away. And then when the Ice Wizard came to assist, it wasn't in trouble of taking damage from the tower since the Miner was the one taking the damage. Valkyrie chews through the Goblin, and here comes the 3 Musketeers. Oh god, and they're split too. Oh no! The Barbarians will take care of the Ice Wizard. One Musketeer makes its way across, and one Musketeer alone does a ton of damage on the tower, and a Mini P.E.K.K.A to assist. Hog Rider in the middle of nowhere. Where are you going? Minion Horde on top of the 2 Musketeers. The Mini P.E.K.K.A is making a run for it. It's gonna get the swing. Baron Shadow with the first tower down. 30 seconds left on the right side. Alpi. Man, Baron Shadow's pushes have just been so... and I really feel like watching that is a really good sign. I like that Elixir Collector too. Might look like bad manners, but it is the guaranteed way to make sure that as Elixir inefficient as you can, it doesn't matter as long as your tower takes no damage. And look at him just juggling that Hog Rider with the Elixir Collector and the Inferno Tower, and he's got another Elixir Collector in hand. Baron Shadow closes out the game very, very safely. He knows what he's doing. This guy is good. He's made it to the top 8 for a reason. Jeez. Yeah, I was... yeah, I feel like that's a really great sign, I think, of a player who's super efficient, right? Because it always seemed like Baron Shadow's pushes were just barely getting by, like super low health. Timing was just bare minimum all the time, but he made big connections, right? Just a sliver of health on some of his units, but the ordering was just right. Just right to do huge amounts of damage onto Alpi. Fantastic. All right, let me remind you guys of what the raffle question is. What is a card or set of cards that beats you and how? And make sure that your answers are interesting and ideally have cause for discussion. And we will be picking the winners of that soon. Alright, let's take a look at our next match. Hasib and Mazarath. Mazarath has actually made it to the top 8. I think he was in smaller groups, smaller pools. Sometimes when some of our tournaments don't have enough participants, some of the groups are a little smaller. But Mazarath, he's performed decently well. He is on the leaderboards against Hasib, a player that I'm not so familiar of. Now this is interesting. It's kind of a trifecta. It's got Hog Rider, Valkyrie, Musketeer, but it doesn't have a freeze. Instead it has Zap, has Inferno Tower, has Elixir Collector, and then Skeleton Arrows. Meanwhile, for Mazarath's side, he's running a Lava Hound deck. Lava Hound, Princess. Now normally with Lava Hound, people want big hitting cards, and I guess that's going to come in the form of the Mini P.E.K.K.A, but it seems like Mazarath's deck is much better at picking away at things. Spear Goblins is a card that tells me that you really want to pick away at towers. So that's one of the difference. Spear Goblins and Goblins. Spear Goblins is picking away slow damage. Goblins is big impact. Golems Goblins, melee Goblins are cards that you want to pick if you're trying to go for big damage one-shot builds, right? And then Princess further promotes that idea of shipping damage. So let's see how these decks play out. All right. Musketeer on the left against the Princess. Minions on the right against the Valkyrie. One shot against the tower, and meanwhile the minions get a few swipes. Minions do a ton of damage. Skeleton, Hog Rider, Lava Hound on the left side. Mini P.E.K.K.A is the only defense that Hasib has, but it's going to tag onto... no, it does tag onto the Hog Rider, but so much damage from the Zap. Oh my god, and the Skeletons actually did a ton of damage to the Mini P.E.K.K.A, so I almost feel like it's not going to get a single shot off. Don't let it swing! Ah! Whew, that was close. Oh my god. Inferno Tower onto Lava Hound is going to be super effective. Look at how much damage that is. Oh my goodness, and Arrow, Hasib knows. A lot of times people spend a lot of elixir on the Lava Hound itself. It does so little damage. The pups, however, is what you need to watch out for. Arrows on the pups was perfect. Hasib defends very, very well. Minion Horde on top of the Musketeer while it's shooting down the Inferno Tower, and that's going to be a pretty good defense. And again, Mazarath is just going to throw down the Spear Goblins, and again, we're talking about chipping damage, right? But Skeletons are going to distract the Spear Goblins long enough that they're not going to do anything significant. But Mazarath evens up the elixir field. He's actually ahead 1 elixir now. What is he going to do with his lead, though? 1 elixir is not too much in the grand scheme of things. Maybe Elixir Collector, but Hasib can answer with his own. And leaking elixir, basically Mazarath just gave away his advantage right there. Alright. Valkyrie pushes the Hog Rider, pushes the Valkyrie and gets onto the Inferno Tower really quick. There's a good zap and it retargets onto the Hog Rider. That's almost a perfect situation. Spear Goblin's in the back, but there's no more zap and he's doing so much damage to the tower. 148 health left, and Hasib is very, very far ahead right now. Arrows is going to be the perfect choice, and there goes the minions too. Inferno Tower again, and this time the pups don't have the arrows to get eliminated, but the Musketeer, the tower, and the Inferno Tower are going to be more than enough to deal with that. Hog Rider just needs one swing. Minigate P.E.K.K.A gets placed down, and there's a double zap to trade. Gets the swing anyways, and Hasib takes the first tower down. Again, 30 seconds remaining, and double Elixir Collector too. Valkyrie is going to be the perfect choice. Takes down all the Spear Goblins and the Mini P.E.K.K.A. And again, Inferno Tower every single time to trade against the Lava Hound. That's really unfortunate for Mazerath. Inferno Tower is a very popular card that people are playing right now, especially because Royal Giants are such a big part of the meta right now. And it just happens to be, it works great against Lava Hounds too. All right, here we go. That is the current raffle question. Let's watch a few more. Let's watch a few more before we close out that raffle. Let's see. Let's find the match. Oh, this will be interesting to watch. All right, let's see. So Ragas is the Sparky player that we saw. He took one win in pool plays so far. Amazon is has an interesting deck of his own, Goblin Hut. Now Huts, spawners in general, are a type of deck that we've seen a lot less of. Spawners just have been much less effective, especially with the advent of the Royal Giant and a lot of splash cards to assist. Spawner decks usually fall to things like Ice Wizard Princess combinations are great against spawner decks, and pretty much anything else you put in front of it. So let's see what Amazon does to kind of overcome that. With he's got some limited use of spawner decks, just the Hut. Excuse me. Let's see how well he uses that. Opening with a Hut, that's a pretty good opening card to have. Now, one thing to say about spawner decks is that they are almost exclusively, any deck with a spawner card in it gets way better at the double elixir mark. Royal Giant coming through and is going to make its way into the Goblin Hut. This is what we're talking about. The advent of the Royal Giant makes spawner decks so much more difficult to use. The Mini P.E.K.K.A actually finds a way to the back line and takes down the assisting card. Fire Spirit is going to do a lot of damage. The Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to swing at the Inferno Tower and gone immediately. The zap was almost unnecessary. And the Mini P.E.K.K.A even gets a swing on the tower. Amazon! Oh my god! 3 swings from the Mini P.E.K.K.A. The Mini P.E.K.K.A is a good card, ladies and gentlemen. Valkyrie appears and immediately gets thwapped by 3 Fire Spirits. 50 health on that right side tower for Ragas. What a tough start. What a tough start. That Mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh my god, the counter push was immense. Hog Rider Mini P.E.K.K.A plus the Princess in the back was just, that was astounding. That's it. Super safe way to take down the tower. The question is, how is Ragas going to fight back? Barbarians on top, and they're actually going to stop the Hog Rider pretty well. Now, Hog Rider Zap is actually a pretty serious investment. Now he has Barbarians and Wizards pushing across. The Fire Spirits are going to clean up the Barbarians, and he doesn't... Man, Ragas doesn't quite have enough Elixir to put the Royal Giant in front of it. He's going to need to wait for the next cycle of 10 before he makes another play. But he has the Sparky in hand, and the question is... I mean, he has the Elixir advantage to play a Sparky right now, but it's going to get constantly stopped by the Spear Goblins. Maybe that's what Ragas is a little afraid of. Let's see. He's hovering the Sparky card. Let's see how effective that this can be. Now, unfortunate thing is this is the first Sparky played in the game, and it's already 1 minute left. So 2 minutes have gone by, and Ragas has not had any benefit from having that Sparky card in hand. Valkyrie to assist the push. Princess in the back. Wizard to assist that push from the behind. Sparky eliminates the Fire Spirits immediately. Fire Spirits added onto the back. Mini P.E.K.K.A and a zap, and it gets into the back line again. And it takes down the Sparky. Sparky just squeezes in front of the Royal Giant. And this is another reason to argue that maybe the Giant could be a better alternative, because the Giant will continuously push forward, and so any units that are placed will tag onto the Giant instead. I mean, the fact that that units push past the Royal Giant really hurts kind of if you just are patient. Eventually the units in the back will be exposed. It's a hard situation to reconcile. Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to defend that well, and man, that Goblin Hut did work. That was really good. I like that deck from Amazon. I like how that played out. I wonder if we'll get to see more of them. All right, let's do one more game and then we'll close out the raffle. One more game and then we will close out the raffle. Oh, okay, this will be an interesting game. Kingslayer. I just started watching Game of Thrones recently, so that's great. I like that name. Kingslayer versus Neomax 1994. Let's take a look at some of these decks. We got another Miner deck coming in here. Hog Zap with Miner, and he's got the Knight instead. So one interesting thing to note is that the Musketeer is missing. Not sure how that will change the nature of the deck. He's got Zap to assist on the offense, and Miner in combination with any kind of card that defends and counter pushes is always great. Neomax, on the other hand, has a Bomb Tower Royal Giant deck. Excuse me, it's actually super interesting. Like Royal Giant Hog Rider, this double building threat, this building chaser combination can be very strong, but you have to figure out a way to justify the elixir cost, right? That's always the thing about running aggressive set decks, especially if you're using a 6 cost and a 4 cost card for it, and then you have a 5 cost defense. And the Bomb Tower is actually a 5 cost defense too, so interested to see how this will play out. Hog Rider. This aggressive placed Hog Rider. Skeletons get zapped out, and the Valkyrie left alone to defend against the Hog Rider. That's a pretty good push. For 6 elixir, he did a lot of damage, and the Valkyrie should be able to be defended against. Hog Rider on the right, though, but he has a Bomb Tower. Yep. And that's going to be enough to take down the Hog Rider. Good idea. I like that idea by Kingslayer, but now that now that he sees that there's a Bomb Tower that exists, nice, I like that. The minions are actually going to not go over to the side to where the second tower is. Barbarian Spear Goblin is used as the defense. I like that to get around the Bomb Tower. The Valkyrie's going to draw the Barbarians away. Hog Rider on the left side, but the cannon draws that Hog Rider over, and the Skeleton's another zap maybe, but I don't think it's worth it. And there we go. This is what we're talking about, why the Miner is great for any kind of defend and counter push deck. Look at that damage that the Miner is doing. 1.9k. Almost got another swing. Royal Giant comes across, and Kingslayer actually didn't have the cannon on hand, so he's going to be taking a lot of damage on this tower, but a lot of fresh units making their way across the river, but Kingslayer just doesn't quite have the elixir lined up. Interestingly enough, Neomax is going to play the Bomb Tower, and so this Hog Rider is actually very well positioned to do big amounts of damage, and he's going to jump the Hog Rider over. He jumps the Hog Rider over, and it makes a big connection onto the tower. Barbarians could be dropped, but there could be a zap to get another swing off. No. Kingslayer opts not to do that. I like that was really well done by Kingslayer. Using the Hog jump to get past the Bomb Tower. He saw that it was committed to the defense, knew that there was an opening, an opportunity for him to use the Hog Rider, and then executing the jump, beautifully done. Hog Rider is the answer. No cannon again in Kingslayer's hand, and this is what we're talking about when you're running double building chaser threats. One of the strengths is that you offset your opponent's card cycle, because he always has to play buildings to stop either the Royal Giant or the Hog Rider, and it just offsets them so badly. Miner onto the right side tower, and man, the Miner is such a great card. Gonna tag onto that right side tower immediately, and Kingslayer takes the first tower of the game. 30 seconds left, but this is a big push from the Royal Giant on the left side for Neomax. Takes down the cannon, and the Royal Giant is still pretty healthy. He's gonna get a bunch of shots off, and Barbarians make their way across. Oh my goodness, and cards just being played everywhere. Hog Rider aggressively on the river. Gets taken down, 1.4k. The King Tower is in trouble, but has so much health. Meanwhile, Spear Goblin's doing huge amounts of damage. Oh, God. And I was just about to tell you guys how the difference between Spear Goblins and Melee Goblins is just the burst damage that they put in. Spear Goblins generally are the much more fragile goblins to use, and they do much less damage. And so you expect to see the Spear Goblins do a consistent amount of damage over a long period of time, whereas the great Miner to end the game. And I don't think there's any way that, yeah, Kingslayer takes the game and Neomax. Man, so many things to talk about. Spear Goblins do a ton of damage on their own. Goblins do way more, but generally it's easy enough to take down the Spear Goblins that they usually get one or two spears off before they get eliminated. And just because of the nature of how they work, usually whenever you play Spear Goblins, you force your opponent to play a certain card, or your opponent just takes that damage and then the tower kills off the Spear Goblins, and you get maybe 200, 300 every time you play that card, right? But the fact that the Miner was tanking for it means the Spear Goblins got a ton of uptime and they did a bunch of damage. Now, if you imagine that situation with Melee Goblins, it might be a little bit different because the Melee Goblins have to push up and they might get into the Barbarians and the Barbarians will take them out. But the Melee Goblins will be able to take stabs at that tower and do tons of damage to it. And if in that situation he had Melee Goblins, maybe that tower would have fallen in that first push. But huge connection nevertheless. That just goes to show you the strength of Goblins when they have a tank in front of them. Jeez. Oh my goodness. Aggressive play from Kingslayer, and whew, and he does it. All right, let's close out this raffle. The raffle is now closed, and I will draw 3 more winners to win buckets of gems. Let's see who the first winner is going to be. So our first winner is going to be Trail Miner, and he says probably Hog Zap, and there's no shame in losing the Hog Zap. It's a very, very strong combination. We've seen a bunch of Hog Zaps already today, and you know it's used at the highest level for a reason, right? The players at the highest level use Hog Zap because it's just consistent damage. It's just the fact that you can clear away cheap cards, generally people want to defend efficiently, right? So they will play cheap cards, the skeletons, the goblins, the spear goblins, right? The minions even. And Zap just does so well in either resetting their attack cycle or just allowing your Hog Rider to get that many more swings in. So, Hog Zap. All right, that's our first winner. Our next winner is going to be Yagami 19891. So, Yagami says, Golem and splash damage units supporting at the back, as I usually use Witch to counter, right? So Golem with splash damage in the back and any kind of big body combo. Big body with splash in the back is a very, very, very basic, effective combo to play, and it requires you to play very well in terms of positioning and timing. You need to be patient. You need to make sure you're drawing the units appropriately. You need to make sure you're handling each of the cards being placed and taking into consideration how they will move onto your side of the map. So, congratulations, Yagami, for being the second winner here, and I'm going to go ahead and send you that information for how you can receive your prize. Let's draw our final winner. Our final winner is going to be Frankost. Frankost. Don't really know how to read that. But he says, air troops plus lava hound. It's very hard to defend against an air tank. So, air troops are interesting because most decks, I feel like, there's just not that many great air units in the game. Minion Horde is probably the most used, but it's also the most easily countered with things like arrows or zap or spells of some sort. For that reason, I feel like a lot of people don't play as much air defense as they should or as much anti-air as they could, right? And so air troops plus lava hound especially is really tough to deal with. Now you imagine a situation, for example, with a lava hound and a balloon. Your already limited set of anti-air is tagged onto the lava hound, and now you have to deal with the balloon on top of that, or vice versa, tagged onto the balloon and the lava hound just makes its way for free up to your tower. And then what do? Now the lava hound is super tanky. Your opponent can continuously play cards in the back, right? So very, very, very tough, set of cards to deal with. Thank you guys so much for your answers, and we have more giveaways, so we have tons more giveaways to go through. That's not all. You guys all have opportunities to win buckets of gems. We have 3 more giveaway questions. That means 9 more winners, and the last 2 giveaways will be done during the semifinals and the finals respectively, but we have 1 more for pool plays and also into round of 8. So guys, sit tight and keep watching more Super Magical Cup and keep your eyes and ears peeled for when the next raffle is coming. before that happens, let's go ahead and watch some more games, and we'll open the next raffle soon enough. All right, let's take a look-see. Let's take a look-see at what the next match will be. All right, this might be an interesting one. Raintown again shows up. So from this, we can pause it. We can already know that since we're watching another Raintown game in pool play, that means that Raintown has defeated Jeff. So according to what I'm hearing, Raintown is really finding his stride now. That means that, because somebody told me, and I don't know if it's true, but I don't know why he would lie. People just don't lie on the internet. That's not what they do. If Raintown did beat Clark Kent, and if Raintown beat Jeff, he's basically beaten in the last week 2 first place finishers in the Super Magical Cup. This might be his tournament. This might be Raintown's tournament to win. Meanwhile, he's up against a player called T-Mini. Now let's take a look at both of these decks. Poison is actually a card that's becoming increasingly popular. Elixir Collector to play some macro, and Royal Giant is going to be the basis of his push. Royal Giant Ice Wizard, great combination. Poison, great card. T-Mini, on the other hand, is using Mini P.E.K.K.A with a Zap, Hog Zap, so it's a cycle. He's got 1 cost, 2 cost, 2 cost, double Goblins plus a Skeleton, Fireball for good spell defense, and the Cannon to handle any kind of building pushers. Solid deck. Let's see how they play out. And guys, if you check your inbox, your Twitch inbox for the message, make sure you're looking in the actual inbox. And if it's not there, make sure you go to the tab that says Other. It could be there. It could be there. The messages are getting sent out as we are doing the raffles. And after stream, we will make sure to double check that everybody who did win got their message. But make sure. Alright, Royal Giant working into the cannon, and it's actually not taking very much damage. The Mini P.E.K.K.A is still there, so it's going to chip away at that Royal Giant pretty quickly. But good amount of shots being taken onto the left side tower, and T-Mini has to be feeling pretty okay about that. He did pretty well on the right side, but as the game progresses, we'll see if that stays constant. Now remember, Raintown still hasn't used the poison. At the beginning of the game, it's important to note that the initial exchanges are not telling of how the rest of the game will play out because people haven't constructed their card cycle yet, and it's a very important skill that players at the top level need to know how to do, is to manipulate their card cycle to the combination that they want, to have the timing that they want. Cannon in place for the Hog Rider, and that's going to be a great defense. Basically, Raintown just got away with a free Elixir Collector. Cannons have to be played in defense of the minion. Meanwhile, Raintown's Elixir Collector is just ticking away. He's put himself in a pretty good position. He can play Royal Giant in the back, and I think that might be what he does. No, he plays it at the bridge, actually. Gonna play Goblins and the Ice Wizard, and that's gonna slow down the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Zap on the Goblins, and that's a big blow to the infrastructure that Raintown had set up for himself. Zap was a great choice. Those Goblins would have done so much damage and given the Royal Giant so much freedom to do more damage onto the tower. Hog Rider plus double Goblins. This is the strength of the cycle, and here's what I'm talking about. Look at those Goblins! Oh my god! Goblins! Goblins do so much damage. That is the one shot. Deal with it. Deal with it. Goblins. God. When Goblins connect, man, they're just so strong. I feel like that's been the focus of the tournament. Mini P.E.K.K.A again to deal with the Royal Giant. The cannon has been placed far in advance, but this time the Zap isn't on time, and now Goblin play of his own. Raintown is going to make a big connection here, and even just one Goblin, look at how much damage that's going to be. Skeletons are going to distract the Goblin, but 573 health, 414, the Royal Giant gets another swing, and this Ice Wizard should be able to take down that left side tower, and Raintown extends the game into a tie. No! 3 health remaining. He has Zap on hand. Raintown does have Zap on hand, and that is a value. That's a value ball right there. A Fireball that gains a ton of value. That is the value ball. There's the Zap to take that down, but now there's no Zap. He could hoard with Goblins. Oh my goodness, there's poison in hand though. Raintown, I actually do like that choice that T-Mini was patient. Now he plays the Horde, and now it's too late. Now it's too late. Royal Giant aggressively on the other side of the map. Can tag onto the tower, but a well-timed cannon is actually going to extend T-Mini's life here just a little bit. 2 shots onto the tower, or 3, and the Ice Wizard for Raintown is making its way into the right side tower. Now Hog Rider gets blocked up by the Royal Giant and slowed up by the Ice Wizard, And the Hog Rider gets taken down really, really quick, and this is dangerous. If Team Mini doesn't make Raintown play a lot of Elixir here, there's another Royal Giant coming up, and played at the river could be a lot of damage. There's a cannon placed beforehand. This cannon will be able to defend against the Royal Giant for just a little bit. Minions onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the Hog Rider in the back, and I don't know about this. I think Team Mini has used up all his Elixir in bad places. The Royal Giant can be placed down at any time. Ice Wizard on his tower. And that's going to do really well against the Skeletons and the Spear Goblin. There's a poison, and the Royal Giant in front is going to tank up the Spear Goblins. Minions to assist. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is trying to get in as many swings as it can. Zap on the Goblins, and counter Goblins to be played. And that's a pretty good defense for Team Mini, but again, he's just had no opportunity for counterattack. Now, one thing to note for Hog Cycle is it's especially hard to take a second tower just because of the fact that the King Tower is now active. Very, very difficult, and also in double Elixir time, your cycle is not quite as effective. Mini P.E.K.K.A. working its way into the Royal Giant. No damage onto the tower. Cannon plus Mini P.E.K.K.A. was enough to defend even with minions assisting. Ice Wizard plus Goblins and the poison, and this is a big push! Oh my god, that was so effective! This has got to be the reason why poison has been so popular. Jeez. Ice Wizard, Goblins plus poison. Who would have ever thought that combination was incredibly effective? Spear Goblins get placed down, but the slow plus the Ice Wizard, I mean, poison slows your troops down, the movement speed and the attack speed, and the Ice Wizard does that too. Both of them on top of each other, plus the Goblins rushing by. Did so much damage to that right side tower, and Raintown. Man, that deck was really great. That deck was really, really great. Value Ball. Value Ball. Oh my goodness. What an exciting match. What an exciting match. Alright. Alright, let's see. Let's find the next match to play here. Let's take a look at Kingslayer versus Woody. Let's take a look at this deck preview here. So Kingslayer is going to be using Miner, Cannon, Fireball, Spear Goblins, and Goblins with Mini P.E.K.K.A. Zap and Minion Horde for defense. Meanwhile, Woody, of course, is using his Mortar deck. Let's see how this match plays out. And we'll see if Woody can make another appearance in the top 8. We're getting pretty close, guys. We might almost be at the playoff stage. So let's take a look. Kingslayer did very well in the one match that we saw. I think he's a pretty solid player. Will he be able to match up against the top end players here at the Super Magical Cup? That's a question to be asked. All right. Spear Golems being placed in the back corner, and it seems like Woody is getting away with Elixir Collector. Mini P.E.K.K.A. Ooh, Skeletons are going to be great against that Mini P.E.K.K.A. But I think he needs a little more damage. The Fireball gets a swing, and that's going to minimize a ton of damage. Miner is actually played assuming that Mortar would have gotten another shot off, or maybe the Mini P.E.K.K.A. was going to get a swing. Not sure, but could have been placed right at the tower. Minion Horde, however, does get committed anyways. Poison's going to get chipping damage on the left side tower. But nice. Gets the Spear Goblins too. That has to be frustrating. Kingslayer. Mortar gets placed. Skeletons in front. And a lot of chump cards just to defend against the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and that's going to give the Mortar a lot of uptime. Minion Horde does a ton of damage to the Miner. And the Zap doesn't actually hit too cleanly, and I think the Minion Horde might get a swing or two off. And the Poison on top of it, that's actually going to get a lot of swings. 116 health, and that's going to tick away to death. Poison Minion Horde. Super effective. Just the fact that two of the minions weren't zapped properly. That's a huge punish. And Woody continues to extend his Elixir Collector lead. And Poison is just a perfect addition to Woody's deck. I don't think he's played with Poison in his Mortar deck before. But seeing it played here, I can see exactly why you would argue that. Goblins get a good amount of swings off onto the Mortar. But the Princess eventually does take them down. And Poison plus the Princess is going to take down the Minion Horde. Mini P.E.K.K.A gets a swing on the Princess. Minion Horde is going to punish on the right side. A good Fireball is going to clean most of them up. And Woody's still standing with 2 towers at 2k health. Plays an Elixir Collector, but Miner plus Spear Goblins comes down. This Princess is going to take down the Spear Goblins, and the Miner is going to get taken down by the Spear Goblin Tower and the Princess. And Woody is sitting pretty comfortably. That is a pretty big push by Kingslayer, to be fair, on the left side. But now he has to deal with Mortar on the right, and Poison is up in hand again. Miner onto the Princess, and now onto the Elixir Collector. There's just not enough time, and Woody makes it happen. All right. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're winding down these matches pretty quick. Pretty quick. There's only a few names left remaining here. Oh, goodness, I need to change the lobby overlay. Yeah, so I think we will be taking a short break, and when we come back, we'll finish out the pool play, just a few more matches to go, and we'll start the next raffle. And we still have all of the round of 8 and the semifinals and the finals to go, so more Super Magical Cup when we come back from the pause, guys. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back. I got more water, more refreshed, more Super Magical Cup. Hopefully you guys have been watching enjoying rather the tournament game so far. Where are those value balls? Where are they? I don't know. That's a good question. That is a good question. We've seen a few today. Not too many. Maybe we'll see more in the later parts of the tournament. Alright, let's reset the raffle. Let's reset the raffle because we're about to have a new one. We're about to have a new raffle coming. And the next question is going to be, what is your strongest card or set of cards you like to play and how do you use it? What is your strongest card or set of cards that you like to play and how do you use it? Here you go. Here's the next question. What is your strongest card or set of cards you like to play and how do you use it? So exclamation mark raffle space answer the question. And remember, if you are an Apple user, if you're using Apple, the Apple Store, you have to be in the United States for us to be able to fulfill your pricing. If you are a Google Play user, Android user, then you can be international. So just keep that in mind, and go ahead and answer that raffle. So more games to watch. Let's see. Let's get down here as far as we can go. Oh my goodness, there's so many good matches now. More of Baron Shadow, and he had a pretty interesting deck. Balodka is going to be running a balloon deck actually with Giant on top of it. Interesting, very interesting. He's got goblins plus the minions to assist and the musketeer with the collector. Meanwhile, Baron Shadow actually is using the Tesla Tower, and except for the fact that it's one elixir more, the Tesla Tower is just entirely stronger than the cannon now after the cannon nerfs, and the Tesla Tower, I believe it was buffed a little bit maybe. I don't remember, but I think it might have been just that the cannon was nerfed a bit more. But let's see how these two decks interact. Elixir Collector opener, and he's playing a slow push with the musketeer, but nice. The miners have punished the Elixir Collector. I feel like I haven't seen this a lot in the Super Magical Cup, but it's definitely a very, very, very strong response to the collector. Musketeer takes about one swing, but still fairly healthy, and that's going to be a strong counter push. Valkyrie in front to defend, but the Valkyrie's going to lose a lot of health. Baron Shadow plays the Knight. I don't think it needs to take damage from the Valkyrie. Good fireball. Believe it hit the tower too. The Knight gets onto the Giant, but the Goblins are going to take it down pretty quick. Bomber on the Giant too, but it's placed in the front, and so the Goblin's going to get transferred over to, and rather the Minions gets transferred over to the Bomber and take that down. Still not the biggest connection, but Balodka hasn't shown that the balloon is in his hand. So if Baron Shadow believes that that's the worst to come, he's going to be sorely mistaken. The balloon combination, and interesting to know that the Tesla Tower is the only thing that's going to save him from the Giant balloon push. Now the thing about two big building chasers like Balloon and Giant is that it's best when you're close to overtime, because you can push for an all-in and make sure that you take down that tower, and you don't even need to worry about the counter push because the game will be over at that point. That might be what Balodka is playing for. Musketeer gets blown up by the fireball. I guess those are technically value balls, but not taking a value ball, Jesus. Man. Giant makes his way across, and this is a big body push that's coming up. Balloon is actually being hovered over, and I don't know if this is the time. Oh my god, he plays it on the right. Tesla Tower's in hand. Yep. Nope. No chance. And Tesla Tower actually tags onto the air. Yep. That is unfortunate. That is very unfortunate. Elixir Collector that Balodka gets eliminated by the Miner 2. And two Knights plus a Miner onto the left side tower. And this is just absolute chaos for Balodka. That one call that he had to play the Giant Balloon combo spread out Fireball is going to take down the Musketeer, and big damage being put onto Boloka's left side tower, but now he's finally going to gain some amount of control back. Musketeer being played down, and I feel like right now he just has been having so much trouble implementing his balloon into his gameplay so far. Giant does actually make it, and the Ice Wizard gets taken down, and the Giant's going to take a few big swings onto the left side tower of Baron Shadow. That's a pretty good comeback. But again, Boloka needs to... Oh my god, and I don't like the Elixir Collector. Okay, he's got the Goblins to protect it, but the Fireball is a follow-up and just so much value for Baron Shadow. It's so hard to justify an Elixir Collector against the Miner. And the huge push from Baron Shadow, you have to commit so much Elixir to stop that Miner. It's you want to protect your Elixir Collector, but then you waste so much Elixir trying to defend it that the push that's coming up down your lane is way too devastating, and that really hurts. All right, guys. Reminder on what the raffle question is. Here you go. Here is the raffle question. Exclamation mark raffle space and then your answer to the question. I see you guys submitting some really well thought out answers. Ah, man. Thank you guys for taking the time to answer those questions. I really wish we get to read some really great answers on stream when we end up figuring out who the winners are. All right, let's see. All right, we're gonna actually go to a different clan here and watch games from a different clan, since we've just been in clan A this whole time, and we'll just see how it goes. Let's see. I hope this is the right one. Hopefully there are really exciting matches here. So let's see. Group B. I hear that this is a great match. All right, let's take a look at this match preview. The two players are going to be Captain and Actively Bored. Actively Bored. All right, what are these decks? It's going to be a Miner Mini P.E.K.K.A. Zap, okay, and we've seen this. This is kind of reminiscent of the Manufan deck, right? Fireball, Zap, Minion Horde is going to be a great card for this combination. That's the ideal, the optimal situation is to have the Miner pushing across on the tower, Mini P.E.K.K.A. covered by the Minion Horde, and then Zap on hand to take down any kind of extra units. Actively Bored, meanwhile, is going to be using a Hog Zap. It's not really a cycle. He's got a few more expensive cards. Doesn't have 2/2/1s, right? He's just got the Spear Goblin, he's got the Miner, and he's got the Musketeer. Let's see what happens in this match. Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Oh, that's the wrong over there. Early Spear Goblins. This is what I was talking about. Spear Goblins just get a good amount of guaranteed damage, about 300. Plus the Miner, more guaranteed damage, but he's ignoring all the Elixir on the left side. Now it's going to be Hog Rider plus Miner and the Musketeer in the back. The Princess is working on the Hog Rider, but the Musketeer is doing a ton of damage from the back, and now onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh! Doesn't quite take down the Mini P.E.K.K.A. 1.9k on the left for Actively Bored. Meanwhile, Captain pushes 1.8k on the right. Captain a little farther ahead, but now this Spear Goblin is probably going to even things up. No. Captain opts to play the Spear Goblins in response 2 for 2. No damage taken on tower. Captain is in the Elixir advantage. There's a Miner on the right side, and again, he's going to go with this strategy of just playing super aggressive. He's not going to bother defending the left side until the very last moment, and this might hurt him a lot this time. Oh, he just barely has a cannon, but he has to play it in a bad position. Mini P.E.K.K.A. gets played out, and now the Spear Goblins to assist. That defense actually went even better for Captain than the first time, but I think he committed a little more Elixir than he did previously. These Spear Goblins push across and get a bit of chipping damage. Nice. Interesting change of cycling for the cards. I think Captain overcommitted to the defense just a little bit too much. Princess gets good splash, puts the Zap, and the Miner gets a ton of damage on. Cannon is being played early. And close up on the river, too. Musketeer outranges Cannon, so could be an opportunity. I don't remember if Captain has a Musketeer in his deck, but Captain is leaking a lot of Elixir. He's waiting for the Fireball. The Musketeer is level 7, so it won't die immediately to the Fireball. Cannon plays for the Hog Rider, and the Miner is getting a ton of damage. Mini P.E.K.K.A cleans up the Miner, and there's a zap onto the Hog Rider and the minions. A good swing, and the minions actually do a ton of damage before they get taken down by the tower, just because the Hog Rider was tanking just a little bit more. And again, Miner and Princess on the right side. This combination has been doing a lot of damage for Captain, but now Captain has to worry about his left side tower. It's getting really, really low. 337 health, 25 seconds left, and we're getting dangerously close to overtime. That's going to really, really suck with such low health towers down for both players. Any mistake, any just little error could end the game for you. And here comes a Minion Horde. Fireball on the Minion Horde. Miner gets placed down. Spear Goblins to defend, but I don't think it's actually going to be enough. The Miner, 154. There's 6 seconds left. Oh my god, the zap on the Miner. 90 health on the tower. 80 health on the left side tower. This game is so intense. It's so close to Fireball. Oh no, the Fireballs. If only they had thrown them at the same time. I wanted to see 2 towers going down at the exact same time, but oh my god. Oh man. Well, that was certainly an interesting game to watch. That was pretty exciting. So, guys, make sure you remember what the raffle question is. What is your strongest card or set of cards you like to play, and how do you use it? And that will be the raffle question. We'll be closing that out probably around the beginning of the round of 8 or so. So you guys have a lot of time. Exclamation mark raffle space answer answers the question. All right. Let's see. All right. Let's see what else we can see here. Oh, actually, this would be really interesting. Mats. Mats is a name that I haven't seen in a while, but he's a pretty strong player too, and I'm interested to see how he's doing in this tournament. He seems to have made it quite far. So, our Bunny versus Mats. Let's see. Miner, Princess, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Minion Horde, Spear Goblins, plus the Zap. Okay, so he's got a kind of the Miner, Mini P.E.K.K.A, Zap combination plus the Minion Horde, right? And Mats has Royal Giant, Ice Wizard, which is the basis of the push. Just a very typical Royal Giant deck. Let's see how these 2 players play off against each other. Princess. Okay, Mini P.E.K.K.A in front to assist, and the Spear Goblins. This is a very fragile push. The Zap is going to take down all the Spear Goblins. Zap on the Ice Wizard allows the Mini P.E.K.K.A to get a swing against it, but Elixir Collector is largely untouched. Nice. That Minion Horde does really, really well. The Miner comes in. Fireball on the Minion Horde. Good answer. And the Miner actually tags onto the tower as opposed to the Collector. I don't know which one I would have preferred. Certainly doing a lot of damage to the tower. 1.9k. Some 600 damage right there. For 3 Elixir, that's great. Matt's got away with the Elixir Collector, however. Royal Giant plus minions. Mini P.E.K.K.A is the defense. Gets zapped up and the counter zap. And the Royal Giant is going to do a ton of damage. And Matt's is about to make a huge connection right now. Look at how much damage the minions are going to do. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. He nearly one-shot that tower. Royal Giant, minion zap, and the Fireball. That was a value ball right there. Oh my jeez. Elixir Collector, Princess, and the kill on the tower. Don't give them that excuse. Do not give them an excuse to throw the Fireball. That was huge. Miner moves across. Now onto the Elixir Collector, and this time the Minion Horde isn't answered with a zap of any sort. Now there it is, and there's a counter zap, and the Minion Horde does a ton of damage. There were only 3 or 4 minions on that tower, and down to 1.2k health. That's huge. Royal Giant played in the middle. Barbarians to assist, and the Mini P.E.K.K.A. is doing as much damage as it can. Well, maybe one more swing, and that was... If the Mini P.E.K.K.A. had actually been taken down before it got that last swing out, it might have been a really, really difficult push for our Bunny to handle. But 40 seconds left now, and our Bunny needs to make sure that 1.2k damage happens. Fireball on hand, and that's going to take down the Princess and the Minion Horde. No, he misses his opportunity. The Fireball comes in a little bit late, and the Princess survives. Mini P.E.K.K.A. in the front. Zap just on the Mini P.E.K.K.A., and the Princess is still behind. Spear Goblins are going to take down the Minion, and the Princess is still ticking away. Miner surpasses everything and goes straight to the tower. But our Bunny needs to play a big, big hitting card soon. Another Princess gets put down, and now they're gonna try to work on the Barbarians, and it's just too little too late. Our Bunny, I think, is gonna fall to Mats. Big, big push. Royal Giant Minion plus the Zap was huge. The timing was good. Playing the Royal Giant at the river. Mats knew he had an opportunity. He took it and made a big connection. And that earned him the victory. Right. Let's see what else we have in here. Oh. Let's take a look at this game. Ruination is actually a player who's made it to the top 8 before too. He's been fairly good. It's been a long time, I think, since we've seen him in the top 8 again. But he has performed very well in the past. Let's take a look at his deck now. Maz is playing his Royal Giant Ice Wizard. It's like kind of standard deck, right? Ruination is playing a Bomber deck. Bomber, or rather a Giant deck with Bomber as a defensive assist is a card that's becoming more popular, especially against cards like Barbarians. It's a really great card. He's got Giant Knight Musketeer. Seems like the beefy cards in the deck. Interesting, kind of control oriented, I would feel. I think. Let's see how it works. Collector opening for Mance. A slow Knight, and that might not be a good enough punish. Elixir Collector for Ruination in the middle. Cannon. Minions placed to assist and takes down the Knight super quick. Royal Giant. Minions played in front. Spear Goblin and the Elixir Collector and the tower get zapped up. Nice positioning on that zap spell, and the Royal Giant gets a ton of shots in. Look at how big that connection is. Skeletons added on top to try to make sure the Royal Giant gets even fewer shots off. But the damage is already done. Mats opens in a big way. Ruination puts himself up to 2 Elixir Collectors, and Mats could respond. He's already hovering the Collector. Yep. Both players going up to 2 Collectors, but Mats is very, very far ahead in terms of tower damage. Maybe Ruination is looking to make a play right now. Musketeer, Giant, and maybe Bomber in the back. There it is. Fireball. Oh my goodness. That is heartbreaking. That is heartbreaking. And I think this is why we're beginning to see less kind of wombo combo, huge elixir investment pushes, just because people running Fireball, it's just such a great spell at taking down these clumps of units. Matt's extending his double elixir advantage, or rather his double elixir status. Continue to put damage onto Ruination's tower on the left. Ruination had a lot of elixir. He had a big advantage. He's basically a whole giant up in terms of elixir against Matt right now. Fireball again, but playing on the right side. I like this choice from Ruination. He wanted to avoid the Fireball killing his clump of units, so he placed units on the right side, and he's going to make a small connection on the right. But I think at this point, you know the Fireball is down. He's going to continue approaching this split push philosophy. Bomber on the left to defend against the Royal Giant, and that does pretty well. And the Giant on the left is still alive. But no, again, it seems like, oh man, just not quite enough, and Ruination is having a hard time dealing with this. 36 seconds left. Really, really tough to handle. Mats is going to take a tower down, and I think he's just going to push all the way through. Ruination is just sitting at 10 elixir. I think he He just couldn't pass through Matt's defense at all. Matt's was just playing too well. And Ruination tried going for a split push strategy and it ended up not working. Committed too much, and that's why I think it's super hard. You see a lot of players playing very confidently, just continuously pushing down one lane. But I feel like really understanding how to commit Elixir on both lanes is going to be very important for players. As the Clash Royale meta grows and players improve, I think that's something that people are going to need to look into a lot more, because there's definitely a lot of answers to different pushes. If you know exactly how much Elixir to commit on the other lane to force your opponent to do different answers and to change up the card cycling, it's going to change the game a lot, I think. And unfortunately for Ruination, I think just a little overcommitment on the other lane. Just a little bit. Alright, gonna remind you guys what the stream, or rather what the raffle question is. What is your strongest card or set of cards you like to play, and how do you use it? So go ahead and do !raffle space the answer to that question. And we will be closing that raffle when we are ready for the playoffs. So let's see. Oh, actually, we have another game of a name that's going to be kind of familiar. It's going to be Adil Reyes, and we've seen him play on stream for a bit. I'm not sure. Don't know if he's made it to the top 8, but he's been doing pretty well in pool play. Let's take a look at these decks. Now, this is the double building chaser. He's got Royal Giant Hog Rider, right? This is kind of like, if you think about Giant Hog Rider, like the Jason deck, this is kind of the Royal Giant permutation of it. Meanwhile, for actively board, Hog Zap, not really a cycle. Again, Musketeer is going to be an assisting card, and we've seen actively board playing this deck before. Let's take a look. Actively board, just providing us that super exciting game against Captain. Meanwhile, Adil Reyes, player that we've seen quite a few times, and I think they do pretty well. Who will come out on top? Archer plus Princess. So many bow slingers. Oh my goodness. On fire. Solo Musketeer making their way across. Barbarians is the answer, and will one-shot that Musketeer. Minions are the answer to that, and the Barbarians are helpless to the air units. I don't think a good zap is going to allow the Barbarians to get a swing or two off, but essentially that was a very Elixir efficient defense. Playing the Barbarians on the Musketeer is already an Elixir lost for Adil Reyes, and then having the minions take down your Barbarians is more Elixir just drained away. Good fireball. Misses the archers, but that was good. 1.5k health on the left side tower. Actively board. Set up a good situation for himself on offense. His fireballs have been so on point. I really like it. Princess against the Musketeer. Hog Rider against the Elixir Collector. I believe he's going to want to play Barbarians around it, and he plays it in front of the tower. He wants to body block as best they can. There we go. Minor Musketeer, but the tower tags onto the Musketeer. Maybe he's going to zap, and there it gets reset, and the aggro goes over to the Miner, and this is a big connection by actively board. Adil Reyes gets opened up, and that's why you need to defeat the Miner as quickly as you can. That one single zap extended the health of that Musketeer by so many shots. So many shots, and that is the power of Zap. Zap's a great card. Zap is a fantastic card. Well played by actively board. Miner. Hog Rider against the Elixir Collector again. And actively board has been so willing just to use the Hog Rider to take on the Elixir Collector. It's interesting because you would think that he would use the Miner for that, but it's flipped around. He's going to use the Miner to attack the tower and the Hog Rider to attack the Collector rather than the other way. Barbarians make their way across, and this could be a lot of damage. Miner on the back line. The Hog Rider gets placed by Adil Reyes, and he might take this tower, actually. That's a pretty big connection. Fireball is going to defeat the Hog Rider. And a good shot from the Princess is going to wipe down all those units. Royal Giant, in the assisted by archers, will take down that cannon fairly quickly. And the minion horde on top of the minions, and this is a big push. Adil Reyes is going to take the... He's got 1 second left. Oh my god, he makes it. Oh my Jesus. Goodness. goodness. That was super close. Tons of damage onto the King Tower too, that Royal Giant. And now this is a really good situation for any Royal Giant player. The instant they have your first tower down, it becomes a very interesting situation because you can always play your Royal Giant on the river, or rather across the bridge, and get a ton of damage. He needs to take down the Miner as soon as he can. Minion Horde onto the Hog Rider, and this Miner is getting swings and swings. The Fireball, 188, 124. He has Zap, but it's not going to be enough. Royal Giant played aggressively, and oh my goodness, actively board has no elixir to defend. This could be a huge push by Adil Reyes. Barbarians making their way across. Zap is going to retarget the Royal Giant onto the cannon, and that 1 or 2 shots may have been the game. Oh my god, 221. 221. The Fireball. No. No! Actively bored. What is wrong with you? Why do you always have these games? Oh my god, that was so close. Oh my god, the Zap. The difference of just 1 or 2 shots. That Zap. 2 key zaps to take down the left side tower, actively board, use the zaps to change the aggro from the Musketeer onto the Miner, and then on defense, actively board, use the zap to change the Royal Giant's aggro from the tower to the cannon, and that was all the difference in the world. That was all the difference in the world. Oh man. I love my red cup. Gives me my water. Helps me stay hydrated. Okay. Okay, guys. So we're about to start the round of 8. Let's close out the raffle question. Let us close out the raffle question. Alright, the raffle is now closed. Let's draw our next 3 winners for Buckets of Gems. Buckets of Gems, guys. Alright, draw. Alright, Chinman123 is the first winner. He says Hog Minion Horde because the Minion Horde hides the Hog and they don't see it. Oh, he likes to go for the sneaky. Sometimes that can be the case. I mean, it's super important to play Clash Royale with sound because you can... It's super easy either to hear them scream Hog Rider or to hear the Hog Rider moving around. That's actually a pretty distinct noise too. Make sure you play Clash Royale with sound. But Hog Rider, Minion Horde, just as cards on their own, are very strong. Thank you so much for your answer, Chinman. Make sure you guys, when you win the raffle, make sure you guys check your Twitch inbox. That's where we send messages for further steps. If it's not in your inbox, make sure you, in that messages tab, you go to other and take a look at other because it might have been sent to that location. So there we go. Let's draw our second winner. Our second winner says Snowbusters. Snowbusters says Hog Rider plus Mirror plus Freeze because I'm old school, baby. That's what he says. Old school, baby. Hog Rider plus Mirror plus Freeze plus Mirror. Hog Rider, Mirror, double Hog Rider. I played double Hog Rider when I was in like Arena 6 or something like that. Double Hog Rider, or are you mirroring Freeze? Is it double Freeze? Which one is it? That's crazy. What kind of a deck is that? Does it work? I mean, it worked for me sometimes. Does it work consistently? That's crazy, Snowbusters. That's amazing. All right. Make sure you check your inbox for further steps on receiving your prizing. And our last winner here is Chris Royale. Chris Royale says Miner and Spear Gobs so cheap for so much damage, and I feel like we saw that time and time again today. Miner, Spear Goblin, I think what was it? Hog Rider, or rather Ice Wizard Goblins. Just so much damage. Goblins are great. They're just a great card. There's a reason why Zap can clear them out because they are incredibly dangerous. If you leave them on their own, they do so much damage. All right, those are your 3 winners for the giveaway. We still have 2 more giveaways, guys, and that's going to happen on the semifinals and the finals of the tournament. So stay tuned and make sure you are ready for more giveaways, more Buckets of Gems. And we are going to hop into the round of 8 after a short minute-long break. So we're going to be back for just about a minute, and when we come back, we're going to be into our... round of 8 games. So we're finally at our playoffs, guys. Thanks so much. Be back in just a bit. All right, guys, we're back. We're back, and we're about ready to get into the round of 8. And it's been an interesting tournament so far. Lots of interesting games to play or to watch. And I'm going to be joined now by a close friend of the Super Magical Cup. A close friend. He helps us a lot with running the Super Magical Cup. He is Christian. How are you doing today, Christian?
Good. How are you, Rainey?
I'm doing well. Have you been watching the stream so far?
Yes, it has been very close. I'm rooting for Clark Kent. Obviously,
You're rooting for Clark Kent?
He's a name who's always super fun to watch, so I'm excited.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of new people too, which is good.
Yeah.
Seeing them up there.
Yeah, tons of new faces, and a lot of players have kind of. It's really interesting because the Super Magical Cup. I feel like every single time we get to the top 8, we have some consistent placers, and then always the other half of it is just new faces.
Yeah.
And, you know, we've had players like Jeff from last time. He's a new face, made it all the way to the top, made it all the way to the finals.
Dang, Jeff.
And then before, you know, Scrazzer, first time playing the tournament, he actually won the whole thing. And then Manufan himself, when he first played, when he first showed up in the tournament, he won the whole thing too.
So the first time I joined the tournament, kind of similar story. The first time I played the tournament, I actually got knocked out my first round. So similar story.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know,
First
like,
times-
everyone has a chance.
There's a first for everything. There's a first time for everything.
yeah.
Let's take a look at the brackets, Christian.
Yep.
Let's take a look at the brackets and see what's going down. Raintown Fly Society, and these are two names that we've seen before.
Fly
And,
Society.
and Christian has been helping us run the tournament since the very start. So some of these names are going to be familiar to him too. And Raintown and Fly Society were some of the first people to participate.
Yep, I think he was
In
in
the Super
my
Magic Cup.
one of my first groups when I ran
Oh yeah,
as an admin.
awesome. Yeah, so Raintown Fly Society coming out. Captain and Clark. Captain had that really close game
There it
against.
is.
God, I already forgot his name. Absolute something. God, there's just so many players that we go through, but yeah, that was a crazy game that he played.
That and the fireball.
Yeah, that was the
Volleyballs.
the volleyball. Yep. Captain against Clark Kent. Clark Kent, probably the current favorite right now. He's so consistent.
Heck yeah.
He's never not been in the top 8. Similar to Woody.
Woody as well.
Right?
That's right.
And that's going to be the
Oh,
next
it's
name
good to
down
see
there.
him up there.
Yeah. Woody never not been in the top 8. Every single tournament he's gone in. And,
So
and
good.
beyond that, he's never. Oh, God. I don't want to lie to you guys because I don't exactly
Yeah.
remember in Super Magical Cup 5 and last week what happened, but never not been in the top 4 either, Woody.
Really?
Never not been in the top 4. So
How do
every
you
single
get
tournament
that
he's.
good.
Yeah, he's just super consistent all the time. And Izeth is a name, like we were talking about, a new name. Izeth. Not somebody that we've really seen in the top 8 before, but now he's going to earn himself some of them super magical points,
That underdog.
put himself on the leaderboard. And on the bottom, we have Matt's return. The return of Matt's, a player I think who has been either not participating or just hasn't had the opportunity to get into the top 8 ever since he made a few showings. I can't remember his points on the leaderboard exactly, but he has been to the top 8 before, just not consistently.
Good to see you back.
And Naders, I think in the last week, in the 256 one, he actually made it to the playoffs round. But I don't think he moved very far. Maybe defeated by either Jeff or Manufan. I forgot, but a strong player in their own right. So that's kind of how our brackets are looking right now. And we're going to see these players play against each other.
Yeah.
So I believe we have our first game ready. And it's going to be Captain versus Clark Kent. Captain versus Clark Kent. So, Christian, you play a little bit of Clash Royale yourself.
Yeah.
And some of these cards might be familiar to you. Let me walk you through some of the decks that they're playing, right?
All right.
So Captain is going to be running a Mini P.E.K.K.A. Miner plus Zap deck. And
Miner.
the idea of this deck is just to use the Miner to tank shots for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. because the Mini P.E.K.K.A. is not that strong on its own.
Okay.
He's pretty fragile. He does a ton of damage though.
Yeah,
So if
every
you have the
swing.
Miner tanking the tower, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. can make it over to the tower, get a few swings off, and that tower is done.
Didn't they just boost the miner's health too recently?
Yeah, they did. They did indeed boost the Miner's health. And guys on stream, let me know how the audio is. If you need Christian to come a little closer to me or not,
Right here.
but just let us know. I think we should be good, Christian. But continuing on here, that's going to be the big danger that Clark Kent is going to have to watch out for
Okay,
against this
okay.
deck. Meanwhile, for Clark Kent, the strength of his deck, and this might be something that you've played against before or a version of, Hog Zap is going to be the core of his offense.
Yeah.
But the big twist in this deck is the triple legendary lineup. Princess, Ice Wizard, Miner.
I don't have
These-
a single legendary.
Yeah, and
No, I don't have
this
a single
guy's
one.
rolling. This guy is the 1%.
He's got 3.
He's got 3. Oh goodness, shame on
Can you
you,
spare
Clark
some
Kent.
Clark?
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
Supercell, can you add like a just giveaway card system?
Giveaway,
You know,
yeah.
Not just request if you have
You
it,
know?
like just give.
Yeah, tax the ones who are rich with cards.
That's right. Yeah, politics.
Yeah,
that's what
goodness.
we do.
Well, this triple legendary deck
Okay.
is going to be really difficult to handle just because the Princess Ice Wizard combination is already strong on its own. Plus, like we said, with the Miner having that capability to have a pop-up tank basically really
randomly.
strong.
Right.
Barbarian for defense, Zap for assist on offense. So let's see how this deck plays out, Christian.
Okay.
I'm excited to see how you will react to this particular game.
Looking at this lineup, looking at the players before, who would you say has the advantage? Who do you think's gonna win this?
I mean, the statistics speak for themselves. Clark Kent, proven veteran, captain, new face.
Right,
So I would
okay.
say Clark Kent has the advantage.
Heck yeah.
But we've seen time and time again the Super Magical Cup surprises, the curse. There can be no two first place winners ever. Nobody has done that before. Maybe Clark Kent will be the first one, but there we go. Miner gets protected with a zap, and look at how much damage that does. For 3 elixir, 5 with a zap, and now it's Clark Kent's turn to throw that Miner across.
Ooh. Mini P.E.K.K.A doing some good damage there. A couple of swings. Do you know how much about damage a Mini P.E.K.K.A does?
In the 400s, maybe.
Really?
300 to 400, maybe.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure because the levels change, but here we go. Here comes the Miner to assist the Mini P.E.K.K.A. This is what we were talking about, but it doesn't quite get it. The Princess and the Tower were tagged
God.
onto the Mini P.E.K.K.A, and so the Miner does a minor amount of damage to the tower, if you will.
Oh, I will. I will.
If you will. Hog Rider onto the cannon, and you know, Christian, if you place that cannon just a little more to the left, that Hog Rider will actually get tagged onto both sides, both towers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
good to
that
know.
could have been
That's good to
a little bit of optimization that Captain could have done, saved himself one swing on a tower.
Not even a tower hit there from that poor P.E.K.K.A.
Yep,
Captain getting mad about that one.
Captain is not. He's about to throw him off deck.
Now, how quickly can you cycle through? You know, obviously you have Clark Kent. Looks like he's running a slightly lower elixir cost.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the benefits of this triple legendary. Each of the legendaries are only 3 costs, so it's a pretty cheap deck, all things considered. Spear Goblins plus Miners come across to the other side, and a lot of elixir being spent for the defense. Oh, that's what what you love.
That's the value ball right there.
That's what you love right
Going
there.
in.
Mini P.E.K.K.A against the Miner, and we've seen this before, Chris, and you pointed it out. The Mini P.E.K.K.A against the Miner is great. The Miner is tanky, but the Mini P.E.K.K.A does so much damage.
2 shots.
Yep. And with the Miner tagged on the tower, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, look at how much health it still has.
Seriously.
Super healthy.
Now he's going through. So this is the part where Captain is now his defense has become the offense.
Yeah, he's counter pushing, but again, Clark Kent has just been so elixir efficient that he's able to defend once it pushes across the bridge, and you can see reflected in health. Clark Kent has constantly been able to push effective offense over to the other side. Oh,
Again! Oh, he took it all out.
And that was because of the
my
existence of the
gosh.
Princess. The splash damage for the Princess was a little bit of extra damage he needed to take down all the barbarians.
Well done.
Mini P.E.K.K.A. Oh, and this time the Mini P.E.K.K.A actually runs off. It's
gonna
abandoned
fall
its duties.
through.
Oh no!
Miner's coming in. He's gonna tank it. He's getting a shot off. Oh, now the Wizard. Is that pretty effective against Miner?
The Ice Wizard is okay against the Miner, but look at how little damage it actually does. It will slow down the Miner and reduce the amount of damage that the Miner puts out onto the tower, but at the end of the day, the Miner is still going to get a ton of swings
There
off
comes the
because it
fireball.
doesn't do a ton of damage. There it is. Oh, and he only gets the Barbarians. Why didn't he go for the Wizard? Oh
What was
no.
that? Clark Kent, what are you doing?
There's only 14 seconds left. If Clark Kent takes this tower at this point, it could be really hard for Captain to come back. 17 health.
Oh, it goes down.
5 seconds left. Is there any kind of spells that Captain can
Fireball,
throw?
maybe?
It's not going to be enough. There's only 1 second.
Oh, well done. Captain picks that one up. Clark Kent going a game down.
Yeah.
No, Clark Kent got that one.
Clark Kent won. Yeah.
Switching it, yeah. That's what I knew, because Clark Kent's the best.
Yeah, he's the best. He's the best. He's the best, man. So, what I mean, just as a gut visceral, like, emotional reaction, how did you feel about those two players? I mean, you mentioned it, right? There was that kind of idea of defense and then counter push.
Yeah.
But eventually, I felt like the tower health was constantly going in favor of Clark Kent. I mean, do you think Captain maybe his other deck, alternate deck, or do you think he should stick with the same thing and just try to make it work?
Well, so that's the thing is, like, when I'm playing, if I have the chance to play my same deck multiple times, I personally would go for that because, like, okay, I know how my thing works. I kind of saw his style, and hopefully I can just make that work one more time.
Yeah.
I personally wouldn't want to, like, try to throw a curveball because you have to go back to it anyway. So, like, you might as well win with it now.
Yeah. That's a good thought.
That'd be my gut reaction, my gut guess there. But so again, how much of this game, obviously you're much more of a pro player than I am. How much of this game is setting up your defense, turning it into an effective offense versus like I'm just gonna sit back and like let him go and then try to do it that way.
Yeah, efficient defense is always important. You need some element of it, but certain decks will be way more aggressive than others, and essentially with a miner deck, a lot of it is about that kind of efficient defense and then using the miner to tank. And so it's that execution of having the miner pop up at the right time, make sure they're taking the tower damage. There was that one push that Captain did where the princess and the tower was actually on the mini P.E.K.K.A as opposed to the miner. And we mentioned that right at the beginning of the game. I think if he can just make sure that the miner is the one tagging those shots, that push would have turned out very, very differently. So let's take a look at these decks, and I believe that is the same deck that Captain is running. So he's actually going with your advice right now. He's not actually going to switch things up. Meanwhile, Clark Kent actually has to switch his deck. So you notice that he's not running the triple legendaries anymore, and he's bringing himself a little closer back down to earth.
He's got 2.
Clark Kent. I mean, what can you expect? Clark Kent.
Clark Kent.
Word on the street is that he takes off his glasses and he becomes Superman.
What?
That's word on the street.
No, Clark Kent is not Superman.
He's
They're
not
way
Superman.
different people.
All right, you're right.
Don't even look
I
the
don't know
same.
what I was saying. They're not the same at all.
Crazy.
I mean, one wears glasses, one doesn't.
Yeah, totally different people. Why would someone who can see wear glasses? No.
It's just, I mean, who does that?
Can you see?
Hipsters.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's who does
hipsters.
it.
Is Superman a hipster?
A little bit. Hey, let us know in the comments. Is Superman a hipster? That's a great question.
Spear Goblins to open just in the fashion that Captain did is actually really great. You can see he just took down 300 tower health and damage, and almost for free. There was really no good response for Clark Kent.
Okay. Now Musketeer, I absolutely love using Musketeer. I don't really see it, obviously a ton up here, but Clark Kent's running it, so now I like him even more.
Yeah, the Musketeer is a great card. Its time to tower is really, really short, just because of its range.
Right.
The instant it walks across the bridge, it takes one step more, and it can already put damage on the tower. So that's kind of the big benefit of the Musketeer, is just the range that it has. It's also a fairly damaging card.
Yeah.
It's not the most damaging you get, but it does
Pretty good.
pretty good amount. Yeah. So Musketeer, I think, is just a great medium card overall, and that's why it synergizes well with a card like the Miner, because the Musketeer can defend well, and then on the offense, when it pushes back across, you use the Miner to tank for the Musketeer, and the Musketeer will be doing its damage over a long period of time.
Now, a knight is something I don't see. So I'm in Arena 7 right now, and I don't see any knights. Why do you think Clark Kent's running a knight?
Now, the Knight is a tanky, cheap cost card. It's only 3 elixir, and it has a ton of health. More health than a Musketeer, for example, that is 4 cost. So what you want to do is combine the Miner with a Knight to extend your duration of time on the other side of the bridge while the tower is constantly ticking away at your cards. Just have that survivability, and the Knight provides that for your weaker cards like the mini P.E.K.K.A, for example, the Musketeer, for example.
All right. Now, another thing that I'm not seeing a lot in this fire is arrows anymore. Is Zap the new arrows?
So Zap is great just because it costs less and it's much quicker, right? Arrows has this element of travel time that you have to take into consideration.
Right.
And also on top of that fact, a lot of people are running cards that can be, that are really more, that lend themselves more to be fireballed rather than arrows. So trying to use the fireball in both cases has been kind of the preferred method, and then Zap can both be used on defense and offense. So players tend to like to run that Zap fireball combination rather than just the arrows as it was previously.
Okay. All right, so right now Captain has a little more damage on Clark Kent's tower than Clark does to Captain.
Here you go. He's going to use the Zap, and look at all the minions in that minion horde get put really low. And this Musketeer is going to try to do their best. And the splash damage for the Ice Wizard, look at how quickly that minion horde just disappeared.
Oh, fireball coming for Captain. Miner following.
Yeah, but he's got the Miner, and it's going to take the tower. And this is what we're talking about.
This is so good.
The execution. This is the execution that Captain needed in the first game, but Clark Kent, of course, being the player that he is, has it on the spot, right? He's just doing it super well, and that causes Captain to have to, for example, put the cannon right next to his tower for a last ditch defense.
He's done it twice. Yeah, he did that twice now.
Yeah. Fireball, that's the value.
Wow, you're right. The knight really only went about half health after the fireball.
Yeah, and that forces. I mean, there's going to be a situation where that's going to force your opponent to play an extra card that he didn't want to in an inefficient situation. And that's really the benefit of the knight. So Miner pops up on the left side, going to do some damage onto Clark Kent's left side tower, but the knight to counter 3 costs for 3. And if you put the knight early enough, the Miner tags onto the knight rather than the tower. And the knight is so tanky that the Miner doesn't really scratch it at all.
So now he also put his Musketeer on the right side of the battlefield, which made it then go that way. Do you think that was a misplay on his part, or?
I think he was just doing that to make sure that he drew the units coming across the bridge as far away from the tower as he could, just to make sure that his defense was a little more secure. Knight Musketeer is going to be the combination coming across the bridge. Miner over for Captain on the aggressive side. The mini P.E.K.K.A, it chops through everything. And Christian, this might be a big counter push. Mini P.E.K.K.A to defend, but the Spear Goblins are doing so much damage, and a Zap plus the Goblins in front cleans that up. And Ice Wizard on full health.
Oh, there's a miner.
And this is the pop-up tank that we're talking about time and time again. Zap for the Minion Horde is going to give the miner an extra swing or two, and the Ice Wizard with a splash. Oh no, the Minion Horde actually separated just a little bit, and again, they're just grinding each other's tower down, and this is what we're talking about with miner just being a consistent, relentless offensive card. Just cycle, and keep playing your miner, keep getting that consistent damage. 1 minute 47 left in overtime, but the towers are getting really, really low. Mini P.E.K.K.A is going to chop
Is
through.
it a fireball range?
Just 2 more fireballs, 1 more fireball, and then just a little bit of health will be left over. If this is what we're talking about, Knight against Miner, and Chris, this is getting to be a very, very intense close match. Any single bit of chipping damage on the other person's tower means that it's viable to getting fireball down.
Yeah.
Oh goodness, the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Here it comes.
Oh my god, 246 health left. The Mini P.E.K.K.A is getting slowed down by the Ice Wizard. Spear Golem's in the mix to try to block up the damage with the Musketeer.
2 Ice Wizards, that's it. Oh, the Musketeer.
Oh,
that is
man.
why it's my favorite card.
The range.
Right
It's
there.
all about the range.
That was so far away. I mean, obviously they haven't buffed that recently, but I seriously feel that was a lot farther shooting than before. Maybe Clark Kent gives him a little, Superman boost.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. So,
Clark Kent picking it up.
Clark Kent.
Oh.
Unfortunately, we have to say goodbye to the captain. Farewell.
Everyone.
A salute for the captain, and he is out of the tournament now. And Clark Kent moves on to the semifinals. And goodness, Christian, just take a look at this leaderboard, all right? Look with me for just a second. Clark Kent is second on the leaderboard. Goodness, I hit the microphone. Apologies to the viewers. Clark Kent is second on the leaderboard right now. The fact that he's made top 4 means that he's guaranteed at least 250 extra points, right? And assuming Woody is going to gain points, Woody is going to go up too. But 250 points already guarantees that Clark Kent is up to 2,000.
Right.
If Clark Kent advances another round, then he's going to get either 500 or 1,000.
Wow.
And depending on where Woody places, we could see for the first time Woody not being first place on the leaderboard.
This could happen today.
Yeah.
This is the story.
Yeah, this is a story. Clark Kent really, and Woody has maintained his position on the top of the leaderboard for a very, very long time. But the other thing to note is that Woody, since he won, he won first place in the first Super Magical Cup, and then I think he took second on the next one. But since that time, he's not. He's always made top 4, right? He's never been under that, but he's also never won a tournament or I think he's only gotten second place like twice.
Since the first one.
Yeah, it's been very difficult for him to win another Super Magical Cup. So all these other players have been catching up, and Clark Kent might be the first one to really put the nail in the coffin.
Now, is Woody the one who runs the Mortar deck?
Yes.
So now Mortar, I remember after the first Super Magical Cup that we had, Mortar got nerfed, correct?
Yes.
In a way. But yet he still consistently runs it. Do you think that might be the reason why he's never been able to take first past that first one?
It's hard to say. I mean, he's such a great Mortar player that I feel like it's super hard to pinpoint that. I mean, if he were to play a different deck, how well is he able to adapt to a different play style?
Right.
You know, because I feel like Mortar really speaks to him just like as a player.
Okay.
Right? So maybe changing up the styles you could say that it'd be more effective, but maybe he's just not as good at playing it. Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions on the table, and I mean, I think he just likes to play the ticking damage, the constant like long range, like slow pace,
bleeding out.
Yeah, the attrition game essentially. All right, this next match that we're going to watch in the bracket is going to be Mats versus Nader. So Mats is a return.
Right.
Nader's is also a return, but kind of more fresh than Mats. Mats has been playing in the Super Magical Cup since a long time ago. Interestingly enough, now we see the return of a second Mortar player. Mats running a Mortar deck. All right,
Okay.
so he's got Mortar, Baby Dragon, Minion Horde, Spear Goblins, Barbarians. He's got Elixir Collector, Fireball, and Cannon. So this deck, in general, looking to do damage with a Mortar. Baby Dragon is probably looking to defend the Mortar from air units and also be tanky.
Sure.
Barbarians plus the Minion Horde, just a lot of cards to protect the Mortar. So this deck is very, very
Mortar
focused
protection.
around. Yep, very focused around the Mortar.
Okay.
Nader's on the other hand, take a look at the deck he's running. Again, you see this familiar combo: Miner, Mini P.E.K.K.A,
Yep.
Zap,
Yep.
and then he's got the Princess to assist and the Minion Horde. Fairly standard. We've seen this kind of deck very, very prominently ever since many fans started using it first in, I think, Super Magical Cup number 4.
Set the precedent.
Became very, very popular. All right, so let's take a look at this game.
Now, you were just saying the Mortar deck kind of speaks to certain players. What deck style speaks to you?
For me, I actually like really aggressive. I actually really like the card, the Mini P.E.K.K.A, just because I love to play aggressive.
Okay.
I like seeing damage happen.
In just giant chunks.
Yeah, in giant chunks. So
You run Rocket?
So no, actually,
That's
Rocket.
like the biggest chunk
So,
game.
so the thing about Rocket is it's a very siege-oriented card. It does a lot of damage, but it costs a lot. So the instant you play it, you can't really assist your push with very much unless you do like a big slow push from the back and pull a lot of elixir. Nice,
Nice fireball right there.
Got the cannon, got the princess, got the tower.
Ooh.
But now the minion horde comes up, and minion horde for the answer. And that's going to be a 5 for 5, but the miner in the back is actually the zap makes the minions win, and the miner was tanking. Look how much damage the minions are doing.
Goodness. Well played, Naders.
1.3k. That was almost 1.5k worth of damage just in that one play.
So the answer for the answer, but then the zap on top of the
Yeah.
minion horde was able to just totally negate it, and he had 3 left over.
Yep, and the miner was tanking the tower. Again, all about timing.
That's right.
All about timing.
That
because
really changed the game
Yeah.
when they had the miner.
if the miner wasn't tanking the tower, each of those minions would have been picked off by the tower one by one, and their damage wouldn't have been done.
Right.
The thing to keep in mind, Christian, is that 100% health and 1 health is no different. You still do maximum damage. And so as long as your minion is just barely alive, if it's not being shot down, it's going to be doing as much damage as it was if it was full health.
Now, Mats is running Baby Dragon here, something I also don't see a lot. How are you going to use a Baby Dragon right now against what Naders is running?
So, for example, if a minion horde is coming across the bridge, you play your baby dragon to absorb a lot of the shots and allow your baby dragon splash plus the tower hits to take down the minion horde without having to play a spell. This means that Max can possibly use his fireball in an aggressive manner, and here we see the baby dragon
there
play
it
it
is.
against the minions, and he played it a little bit late. The minions tagged onto the mortar, but ideally what he would like in that situation is for the baby dragon to tank for the mortar.
Okay, that makes sense. Baby Dragon seems pretty tanky.
Yeah, and look at that, tanking for the spear goblins. Princess played in the back, but good amount of damage. The spear goblins got about 3 or 4 hits in, and you see that Mats has actually evened up the game.
Yeah, it takes the lead very, very so slightly.
Here we go, minion horde miner combination, and Christian, we've seen this time before, and barbarians this
gone.
time. There, he had the fireball, and remember Mats used that fireball against the cannon and princess in the first situation. Nice, good choice by Naders.
Absolutely.
Tons of damage onto the tower. Baby dragon at the river. And the spear goblins to assist. We've seen this push before. Baby dragon tanking, spear goblins doing their damage. Look how effective that is.
Yeah, it's just like right when Mats takes the lead, or right when Naders takes the lead, Mats comes back and responds pretty beautifully. Here comes the miner now from Naders.
Interesting situation. Mats had to play his mortar defensively, and that miner might actually do it. No, the minion horde on top. Zap onto the minion
Fireball.
horde, and this is going to be a slaughter fest for Naders. His minion horde is going to survive so well, and look at how much damage they do to the baby dragon. They're all spread out, so the baby dragon couldn't splash them all. 245 health. No, the spear goblin's come across, but onto the cannon.
6 seconds, fireball.
There's a
Smoke going
fireball.
out.
Oh,
no,
12.
no!
That's 2 digits. That's a 1 and a 2. I learned how to count in Sesame Street.
Oh,
That's
no!
oh my god.
Naders and Mats both not having the fireball damage, but here comes the miner. One
Oh.
hit from there. Miner cleans it out.
God.
Well done, Naders. Woo! Man, I mean, I just, math, you know? Math. That'll do it.
Just, oh man, the fireball. 12 health left. And that's, that's when you really realize, like, every single little thing. Like, if only one of those spear goblins had
Hit, like,
thrown
one more
spear.
Right.
Just one more spear.
But you can't think about that. You can't beat yourself about those things. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's good to learn from them, but
Yeah.
don't beat yourself up.
Yeah, definitely don't hurt yourself over that.
Oh, also, I brought this because it was your birthday.
Oh, yeah, it
Yeah,
was.
So
Once upon a time.
happy birthday.
It was, thank you.
Hey, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. And
Everyone say happy birthday to Rainey. Happy birthday, Rainey.
it was my birthday once upon a time, but now that time has passed.
Sure, yeah.
And now I have to wait another year for it.
I mean, don't we all? Don't we all? Just pretend that didn't happen.
All right. So, Matt's Naders, and Naders will move 1 game up. Let's take a look at the next game in their series to see who will join Clark Kent in the semis.
Here we go.
I think this would be it.
That's
Let's
it.
take a look at the match preview. Now, Naders has to change his deck. Mats can decide to stay, and it looks like Mats has changed his deck
Change
too.
as well. Yeah.
So Mats is running a standard Royal Giant deck. The big 2 cards in this Royal Giant deck is the Royal Giant and the Ice Wizard to back it up. The Ice Wizard is really great, slows down things, makes sure that the Royal Giant lives longer, means the Royal Giant gets more shots, means you do more damage to the tower or whatever defensive structures there are. In order to assist the Royal Giant further, you have Barbarians for defense. Anytime they throw something like a Hog Rider, you have both Barbarians and Cannons just for general defense. Barbarians do great damage defensively because they move slow, but they do a ton of damage.
Sure.
So if you surround a unit with it, they're done. Minions, again, cheap card, high damage. just used for defense, they can be very easy to destroy with spells. But if you play them defensively, it happens so quick that usually they're done with their job by the time you can clear them out.
Okay.
On Nader's side, his second deck is going to be, again, Hog's Zap, and he's going to have that triple legendary setup that we saw before.
All right.
So, again, just goes to show how great the utility between the Ice Wizard and Princess is. It's almost, you can't really give it away. And then the fact that he has a miner to add that pop-up tank, just a solid deck overall. Barbarians are good for defense.
Okay.
So, let's see if Naders can make it happen, or if Mats will come back and tie up the series 1-1.
All right.
Look-
Here we go.
Look what you did.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying happy birthday now in
see,
chat.
because people care, right?
People
Internet
care.
full of people who care.
The internet, they both don't lie and they really, really care.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
They don't lie and they really, really care.
All right.
All right, Hog Rider plus minions moving across. Barbarians for the defense, but he actually did it wrong. You want the Barbarians to body block the Hog Rider, and if you do it right, they won't do any damage hardly at all. But the Ice Wizard to assist is going to slow down the Barbarians and do a pretty good job of defending. But meanwhile, Mats has his own Ice Wizard that's going to be pretty healthy on the counter push.
Okay.
Miner added in. Oh, I don't know if I like that choice, because now Naders has to defend the Royal Giant, but again on defense, surrounding the Royal Giant with the Barbarians. Just such a great defensive card. They do so much damage. Yeah. 1.8k health for the left side tower for Mats, and now Naders might chip down that tower just a little bit more. But Mats has been holding fairly even in the game so far. Now, you see that Mats has a little lower tower health, but he also has an elixir collector down, and now he has 2. So that's kind of where that tower health went. If you're wondering, why is Mats losing right now? It's because he's opted to put the elixir collectors down rather than aggressive troops.
Okay. And now, when you do that, obviously you're going for a more later play.
Yeah, you're looking to play the macro game, the long game, right? But good punish by Naders. He threw the Hog Rider down and both eliminated the Elixir Collector and also zapped to make sure the Ice Wizard was tagged onto the minions and the tower slowed down, and the Hog Rider got a few swings, now down to 720 health, and Naders is in a really, really good spot. This is very tough for Mats to come back from, because now he's still at 1 Elixir Collector, and playing a Royal Giant deck, essentially you want 2 because you want to play the biggest combinations you can to assist your Royal Giant. Oh, and unfortunately, the Ice Wizard got placed down too late. And if he had seen the Ice Wizard, he would have been able to get all 3 of them. And now that the Fireball is gone, the Barbarians are going to walk. Yeah, the Barbarians are walking across the other side. He doesn't have very great AoE to take down the Barbarians. And meanwhile, the Miner on the left is just doing work on that tower. 464, 400, down to 300
damage.
now.
One more shot.
Oh, nope. Denied.
That'd been good.
Royal Giant Ice Wizard, and this is kind of like the last opportunity that Mats really has. He's playing the Barbarians behind, but again, look how slow they are, and then they're also getting splashed by the Ice Wizard and the Princess, and that's the synergy we were talking about with the triple legendary. Meanwhile, I mean, you see how much damage that the Royal Giant still did on the tower, but the fact that the Royal Giant, or rather the Ice Wizard and the Princess, were just picking away at the back line means it wasn't quite as effective as Mats needed it to be, and now his back is to the wall, Christian.
Mats, don't give up yet, Mats.
This might be the penultimate push. The Hog Rider, and there's the block that we were talking about.
Oh, help!
10 seconds left. 10 seconds left to do 556. If he can play the Royal Giant on the bridge, he might still be able to do it by throwing a Fireball in conjunction with that, but no, he opts no,
that's it. Done. Naders not going to make it for that one.
Oh, goodness.
Now, one thing, real quick before I forget, Naders played a Miner as a defense.
Yeah.
Is that something that you see a lot?
Yeah, I mean, the big thing about it is once you've gotten your opponent's tower down, in a certain way, you are not incentivized to attack at all.
You're like, just gonna play the defense
You may
game.
as well just throw everything on defense, because there's no reason for you to move across the bridge. As long as you make sure that you don't lose a tower by the time the timer runs out, you take the win.
All right.
So there's
well played then.
I mean, normally that isn't the most effective use of the Miner, but given the context of the game, by far, it was the most effective use.
Now, one thing that I don't see a lot too, which is my favorite card, is Mirror.
Yeah, Mirror.
Don't see a lot of mirrors.
It's hard. Mirror is hard to utilize because it's one of those cards that let's take a look at the bracket while we're talking about this. 2 zeros for each. Clark Kent and Naders both move on to the semi, so we just have to figure out whether it's going to be Raintown, Fly Society, or if it's going to be Woody, Izeth. So there you have the update on the bracket. Meanwhile, talking about Mirror, right?
Yeah.
The big thing about Mirror is it's hard to justify a card that is more expensive. There's very few situations where you would still want to play the same card, because
that's more expensive.
The way Mirror works is that it just copies the last card you played.
Right.
So essentially, it's not that you get to play the same card twice. It's that you must play them next to each other. Right. You
Okay.
have to play them one after the other.
Big elixir
Yeah.
advantage.
So if you think about it, for example, if you play a princess and then they play like a counter to princess, I mean, maybe not the best example because arrows is a counter to princess, and if you play another princess after that, then it, like you don't have arrows anymore, right?
Yeah.
But say they play like a unit, right? Like let's say you played God, it's super hard to think of an example. Like let's say they played a splash unit like the Ice Wizard, right?
Okay.
And then you played something like Spear Goblins, like. If you played another set of Spear Golems, you would still be countered by the Ice Wizard. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
So, like, the only situation where that would help is if you could play Spear Goblins, the Ice Wizard gets eliminated off the table, and you play another set of Spear Goblins.
Or double value ball.
Or a double value ball, right? But
That's what I
then
wanna
you have
see.
to start thinking about, like, a 5 elixir cost for less damage
Yeah.
on the tower.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of different ways to think about it.
Okay. I
We
guess.
can get super technical about it. There's a lot of different situations to consider, but Mirror can be very strong in the situation that you have a perfect counter, right? Because
Gotcha.
then you just hammer that counter into your opponent's deck, and,
Right.
and they can't
It's
really
done.
deal with it, and that makes it really strong. But it's a hard card to go. We have a Sparky in the top 8.
Sparky does so much ridiculous damage to towers. You're like, oh, here comes this cute little slow movie. Half your tower's gone.
Half your tower's
It's
gone,
just like, oh.
and then all of a sudden your whole tower's gone.
What's a good counter to Sparky?
So generally, Sparky has a ton of great counters to it. For example, throwing cheap units. Like if you imagine Sparky costs, I think 6 or something like that, 6 elixir.
Yeah.
If you throw 1 elixir skeletons on top of it, Sparky will waste its attack on the skeletons, and then you drop another card like say a mini P.E.K.K.A.
and it's recharging and
Yeah, and the mini P.E.K.K.A. will chop it away in 2 shots, right?
That makes sense.
And then even then, you think, okay, I played 2 cards, but the total elixir cost was still about 5. Right, so you're still paying
Under.
less than what the Sparky cost, right?
Gotcha.
On top of that, if you zap a Sparky, it actually resets its charge back to 0.
Really?
Yeah. So if you zap a Sparky, it has to do its whole process again. It's just a very finicky
I should
instrument.
start running Zap.
It's just, yeah, Zap is a great card. So let's take a look at these decks: Sparky, Barbarian, Princess, Ice Wizard. Again, that unseparable
Duo.
combination of
The
legendaries.
BFFs forever.
Yep, Zap and Knight to assist. This is a fairly cheap cost deck. It's just using really incredibly efficient cards, and it's trying to get away with, I think, Sparky doing the most amount of damage, Zap to help clear out the cheap cards. So, for example, you play Sparky, you know they're going to play skeletons. You play the Zap onto the skeletons,
Oh,
and then the
waste
Sparky,
it.
yeah, and then the Sparky will just shoot your tower. Woody, meanwhile, standard siege deck. We've already seen this deck before. Rocket Cycle. He's got the mortar. He's got the fireball. He's got the Inferno Tower. He's got the cannon. He's got the defensive structures and the cheap chump units to defend.
Let's
Right.
do it, Woody.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look at what happens.
All right, here. I'm excited to see a Sparky. Excited to see a Sparky go. All right.
All right.
Level 9. Have we seen any level 10s yet?
No, the tournament cap actually prevents them from going above level 9. So
Oh.
level 9 is the highest
That's
that
it?
you will ever go.
Oh, he just gave a little thumbs up.
Yeah.
I'll give a thumbs up too. Hey!
Pass me the laughing one.
Yeah, there
I
you
want an emote too. Hey! All right.
Hey!
All right, now that we've got that out of our system, Cannon, Cannon and Princess, and this is gonna be a little bit interesting since the Barbarians are gonna kind of push through and
Oh!
the Princess just barely
got saved.
And the fact that the Princess lives, Christian, means that it's really troublesome because the Princess will never cross a bridge. It will always just shoot your towers forever and ever until you play a card to try to kill it.
Carry his princess up again too.
Yeah, it's a very, very fantastic card. It is the epitome. It's basically a moving mortar.
So good. Oh, princess v princess.
They're gonna trade.
Boom! I always thought it would be cool if, since they're flaming arrows she shoots, that the circle that it hits kind of is like a dot. Like if they stay in
yeah.
it first, it's like a poison, like
Yeah.
a 1 second poison.
You want to make the Princess even stronger?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, anyone who doesn't have a princess.
Oh, goodbye.
That's way better than a value ball, right? Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, that's
no.
sad. That is when you cry.
Yeah, we don't have the
Cry
crying
tears.
emote, but
You can just, yeah, no. I mean, I don't want to. That's
Oh man.
Hey, Zeth, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that sucks.
Well played, Woody.
That-
well played indeed.
Yep. I can just imagine Woody just.
He's like, all right, yeah, I'm just gonna do this.
Goodbye.
Okay, that's cool. You can put the cannon close enough to hit the mortar.
Yeah, and that is essentially one of the best counters against the cannon, because then the mortar will actually tag out the cannon rather than your tower, and then the mortar doesn't actually shoot fast enough to destroy the cannon before the cannon destroys the mortar.
Oh, perfect.
So generally that is the interaction that you want. He has another Sparky in hand, but the rocket is there too. So 6 cost for Sparky, 6 cost for the rocket. and Woody's going to be able to hit the tower
Oh, here it
every
comes
single
again.
day of his life. Whenever Woody wakes up, if he sees a Sparky next to the tower, he says, I'm a rocket that.
It's actually really smart though. I think that he is not rocketing it right now because it's going on the different side. So he'd actually put damage on the tower that he doesn't want to put damage on.
Yeah, and that's probably the big reason why he's not doing it, but he might pay in big
Oh.
dividends. Oh, God! No!
This is
Oh,
some damage.
goodbye, Kennen. And now the goblins are being... Now he has Zap. Izeth still has Zap, right? So he could actually zap it out, but the tower is being played onto it.
Oh, phew.
Oh,
Just in
my
time, Woody.
goodness.
That would have been so much. You're right. He almost paid for that.
Yeah, he almost
almost
did.
paid for that.
He almost. He paid big. But Woody is a very smart Siege player, and he probably has better ideas than I do. They're going to trade again. We've seen this before. Yep. Goodbye.
It's just so in sync. It's like just like synchronized dancing.
Yep.
Or swimming.
Yeah, this is synchronized swimming.
Synchronized swimming.
It's a beautiful Olympic
Yeah.
sport.
Yeah. You ever try it?
Yeah, I've never tried it before, but
I've tried it. It's super. I failed. I mean, I tried it like in at a random.
this time the
pool.
princess is going to win. I live.
She did it. Oh,
Yeah, that
okay.
ain't. Okay, yep, just on
Defensively.
the... He didn't even need to hit the tower. He was just okay with rocketing it, and I like that choice. You don't want to take a risk, because if you mess up once against Sparky, you could end
You're
up...
gonna pay
Yeah.
so much.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, what is your when people like play units way far in the back versus right up front? Is that the stacking? They want to make sure that this eventually can.
So they're
build up
basically
players?
they're investing into the future, right? They're saying I'm going to pay now, but I'm going to let it take effect into the future, and during that time their elixir is regenerating. So instead of having just a 10 elixir max push, they have maybe a 15 elixir push, maybe an 18 elixir push, even if you have elixir collectors. Oh my
Wait!
God!
Oh, I thought he shot the rocket. I was like, why did the rocket not kill Sparky? But he just shot a fireball there.
Yeah, it was just the fireball. I hit the microphone again. Sorry, guys. Princess.
Lives.
The princess lives.
Second time Woody's princess has lived now.
The princess lives is not a statement that I've been making a lot since I started watching Game of Thrones.
Zing.
Minions get taken down by the tower.
Now minions do some good damage.
Yeah, they
Minion
do.
hordes
I mean,
will.
look at that. 3 minions, just one of them survived to really take some swings, but it got a good amount of damage down. And currently, I mean, I think Izeth's defense has actually been fairly good.
Yeah.
Woody has not. Oh, okay, yep.
Oh, there goes that.
Oh,
Ooh,
God, he put the-
Unfortunate for Isaac.
I thought there were 4
Just
of us. Now there's
patience.
just 2.
Just patient.
Yeah, and that's the big thing. When you know your opponent has splash spells, putting too much investment in one clump is not a very great idea. So
cost.
I think a change that Izeth might want to consider is not playing the Sparky in the back, playing other cards in the back, and then when they get to the bridge, put the Sparky a distance behind that to clear out whatever gets dropped in front, and then that way you don't have everything clumped up that gets rocketed or fireballed, and you also get the benefit of the Sparky in the back.
Ooh, double princess now.
So you see right now the way he's playing Sparky, once it gets to the bridge, he wants to assist with units. It's gonna be there's a
Woody's
fireball.
just going for it.
Whammo camo.
Wow, just double whammo out of nowhere. How much damage is that? Over 700?
So I think the rocket does about 500 or so, and the fireball will do about 200 plus.
Yeah. Man,
So-
that's got to be so like when your tower gets to at 700 health, you're basically dead.
Yeah.
It's like that. You're like you can't. That's your now threshold that you can't pass.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So
Woody, taking it back.
Woody takes the first game, but it's a best of 3.
Right.
So Izeth still has a chance.
All right, Isaac.
I'm always upset to see Sparky not actually do anything.
Let's see if he can do. Let's see if he can do this time. Let's see if he
But
switches or not.
yeah, Woody has to switch his deck. Izeth can choose to stay. Interestingly enough, looking at the deck previews, Izeth does choose to stay. Sparky lives again.
All right, it's for
might-
you. He wants to show you that he can do it.
Now this alternate deck from Woody I think is incredibly strong. Before Woody was trying to use a Royal Giant permutation of a siege deck, and Royal Giant is kind of a siegey card because it stays very far back and does constant
Super
picking
tanky,
damage.
right.
Yeah, it's essentially because again talking about time to tower, right? The Royal Giant has enough range that after it crosses a bridge, basically a single step and it's already in range of the tower.
And he just
Right.
focuses towers, not units.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. It just goes towards buildings. So every time you play the card, you can almost guarantee that it'll at least get like maybe 300, 200 damage on the tower, and if they mess up their defense, more. Right? So it's kind of a CG card, but I don't think it was working out really well for Woody. Instead, he's played another mortar deck, but this time he's changed up more of his assisting cards, and he's put poison instead of fireball, and I think this is a fantastic choice.
Okay.
Poison is a card that's become very, very popular as of late. And
It just got buffed too.
Yeah, hopefully you will see why. Hopefully you will see why. Izeth again with his Sparky deck. Let's see if he makes it happen.
All right, Isaiah, this is your last shot.
And just as a reminder, guys, the next raffle will be starting at the semifinals and the final raffle at the finals. So it's 2 more raffles, 6 more buckets of gems to give away. So if you guys are looking for gems, stay tuned for that.
Yeah.
But right now we have to focus on Izeth versus Woody. Woody takes the early lead 1-0 in the best of 3 series, and this is in the playoffs, and everything is single elimination, so Izeth is at risk of getting booted away.
Now, this is a question for you. When I see an enemy place down an elixir collector, what should I do? I mean, obviously, it's like because they're going for a late game, like you're saying. What's the best way to respond to that?
So it really depends on the hand that you draw. If you have cards that can really punish and play very aggressively, that's going to be your best choice. If you have cards that can punish the elixir collector, like trade efficiently, like maybe fireballing it with the tower or using a miner to attack the elixir collector, that could be a good choice too. If not, then you just have to play a slow push and try to win in the barely elixir advantage situation, which Izeth can do, but again, he's just scared of that splash damage, right? If you build up too big of a wombo combo, a rocket and a fireball could end your day, right? And then your opponent still has that elixir collector down, so.
Did Woody run rocket in this one as well, or just fire?
No, I think he just has poison as his damaging spell. So cannon plus Sparky, and this is actually very interesting. I think that cannon should take down that mortar. Yep, before Sparky actually gets there. Barbarians in front of Sparky to kind of protect from any kind of damage, but the poison is going to tick away at Sparky. And look at how fragile it is. Skeletons, and that's what we're talking about.
You just called it.
Spooky, spooky skeletons.
Just to reset it, just to do enough.
Yep, and then the poison took care of the Sparky. So the Sparky lives and dies on the battlefield, and oftentimes does not get to see the glory of victory.
And Woody got the trade there. He got a little bit of damage on the tower, and he's up in elixir. So. He's in a good place.
Yep. Double elixir collector. Woody is just gonna start throwing stuff out there. Just
to get it. Just mass.
Just stuff. He's just gonna start throwing stuff. And if he cycles fast enough, he could get a 30 elixir collector. Skeletons again in front of the knight. The cannon is being played to assist, and there's a zap, and that's gonna do good work for Izeth. But again, the question is, every time he defends against these mortar pushes, the result is that all his units get wiped off the field, so he has no counter push. So even though he's defending well, he just has no opportunity to go on the attack.
Here comes the minion horde just going in. Good amount of damage there from Woody.
Yeah, and assisted with a poison. I mean, he's doing some amount of damage, and some amount of damage is okay for Woody. Sparky gets added into the mix. The barbarian surrounds Sparky.
Big push.
The knight is leading ahead.
Push.
The skeletons get eliminated, but that's actually okay because now the skeletons are bothering the barbarians.
I thought he was gonna get. I thought Sparky was gonna get a shot off there.
Just super unfortunate, and I really feel like the Sparky is just on the precipice of working. I think Izeth is just missing a few key cards to make that Sparky. I mean, if they had survived the minion horde, if the minion horde had been wiped out, maybe with some additional splash like a princess or something like that, that Sparky would have gotten one big shot down.
Oh,
now the
two mortars.
Yep, tagged onto the left side tower, Christian, and I mean we're near that kill zone. We're near that kill zone that we were talking about. I mean,
right, if Woody had his
if he had the rocket fireball.
Yeah.
I mean, in this deck, it's Woody can actually just start playing poisons. Just poison and defend.
And just always making sure he has elixir collectors up and
and there it is. He's beginning poison. He's got there's 2 minutes and 30 seconds of this.
All right. So in the meantime, get some popcorn.
Get
some books.
Yeah, we could
read.
read a book.
You guys want to read? You guys want us to read?
Oh, goodbye, Spear Goblins and Minion Horde. This is what we're talking about. The princess is there, zapped away.
Poison was forced.
It just needs the poison. Oh my God, it was
well
right
done,
there.
Poison.
The poison slows down units.
Just enough.
Just enough. Sparky just needed to move just a little bit more, and it would have just dumped on that tower.
Woody's got this down. He's got this down to a science.
This is what I'm talking about. Sparky at the bridge.
Okay.
That's what you need to do. The skeletons are ready to try to defend against Sparky. Oh, but it tags onto the cannon.
Done, cannon.
And he needs to zap the minion horde with the princess.
Not enough.
And you can start to see how difficult it is to actually utilize Sparky.
Damage, yeah.
Yeah, because you really, I mean, your opponent is scared to death by the units, so he's going to play whatever counters he can. And it's pretty easy to distract a Sparky. I wouldn't be surprised if a little bee or a butterfly flew by and Sparky would just be like, oh.
They're more distractible than Pekkas.
Yep.
Oh, there's the poisons. Mortars up. Now in a general cycle. Oh, ooh.
Yep.
Oh, there it is.
Woody.
Taking it. Well played. Well played.
Consistency is key.
That's
Woody.
right.
Semifinals again.
That guy's a boss. Azeth,
Again.
well played. Just couldn't stop the consistent damage of Woody there. Well,
Yeah.
now what would you think about playing Sparky as a defense?
I think it's interesting because it has a lot of wind-up time. If you want to play it as defense, you need to make sure you're not playing it when the units are already at your tower. You need to play it as they're moving across, because otherwise you
Right.
play the Sparky, they're at your tower, they're doing the damage, and then Sparky charges up and kills them, but your tower is already
Done.
Yeah,
Right.
already really, really low. So, I mean, it is one use of it. It is an use.
Just not a good use. It's not, maybe
Possible.
Not the best use.
I mean, there are a lot of things that happen in this world, Christian, and that might be one of them.
That's true. Yeah, maybe I'm gonna start that deck, a Sparky defense deck.
All right, let me make sure that we're catching the first. Hey, you see, I'm glad I made sure because there was one more match. happening
Hey,
here.
nicely done.
Yeah.
What would we
nicely.
do without you, Rainey?
Oh, very interesting game. All right, Raintown Fly Society is the last of our round of 8, and then we will be going on to the semifinals and opening this second to last raffle.
Woo!
But first, we have to get through this. Raintown Fly Society, 2 names that have gone to the top 8 before. Very old names, very, very early competitors in the Super Magical Cup. Raintown is playing a Royal Giant deck. He's playing Royal Giant, but he doesn't have the Ice Wizard. He just has a Princess, so he's separated the two.
Okay.
Right? The Princess is lonely and very...
She's not gonna do good like that.
Yeah. But instead, he's got the mini P.E.K.K.A. And I'm interested to see how this Royal Giant push plays out. It looks like a very, very aggressive set deck. Ice Wizard is a great card because it works well offensively to help your Royal Giant, and it's great defensively because you slow down the cards and really, really just, provide more time for your tower to pick away at your opponents. Fly Society, meanwhile, Fly Society was very well known when he first started playing in the Super Magical Cup for doing Rocket Cycle decks. So not necessarily using Mortar. It didn't matter to him whether Mortar was there. He would actually just bunker up and just keep throwing
chunking.
rockets. Yep, keep throwing rockets at people's buildings. But this is a very different kind of deck. Royal Giant, and again, interesting to know that Royal Giant is still very siegey. It's still I would say it's still a very kind of like defensive card.
Okay.
Just because it's very easy to just play it alone and get guaranteed damage and then just spend the rest of your elixir defending.
Oh, okay.
But it's a fairly standard Royal Giant deck. Royal Giant, Ice Wizard, Barbarian for defense.
Arrows, not zap.
Yeah, Arrows is not Zap, and Fireball. Now, the big benefit here is Arrows does much more damage to the Crown Tower. Right?
Okay.
And he was
He's going for that damage.
Yeah, he was a big proponent of using spells to grind his opponent down. So, let's see how that happens. Let's see.
All right, Fly Society to Raintown. Who do you think's gonna take it? Good luck. Hey, good luck to you too, Fly Society.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think he was talking to Raintown though.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Man, who knows?
All right, Royal Giant aggressively. Raintown. And this is what we were talking about. The deck is aggressive.
Wow, just right in the beginning.
Yep, right at the beginning, just at the bridge. And this is, you asked the question, how do you deal with Elixir Collector? Well, one of the choices is just to play super aggressively. And that
Ice
Royal
Wizard's
Giant,
great.
half health, is slowing down the Royal Giant, but he's still getting a ton of shots off. 1.7k. And ideally, I mean, if the Ice Wizard wasn't down, or if the Ice Wizard wasn't there for Fly Society, I imagine Raintown would have brought that tower down to maybe about 1k health.
Really?
Yeah.
Slow
A
it
lot
down
more
that
damage.
much.
Yeah.
So this is the other thing that I'm noticing about Elixir Collectors is like you said, if someone plays the Elixir Collector, yeah, you can be aggressive, but I mean, Raintown was aggressive,
Yeah.
and still a little bit of damage on the tower, and now we have
Yeah.
2 Elixir Collectors for Fly
Yep,
Society.
and the situation just gets worse and worse and worse because now he has more elixir, which means he can cycle faster, which means he can play more elixir collectors, right?
Right.
And you see this second push went far less successful for Raintown.
Yeah.
He didn't get nearly any damage on it. Well, he did a little bit more, but now he's got a counter push, right? And now you have to spend elixir defending counter push. Guess what you're doing while you're defending?
Don't
Fly
good
Society.
game.
Fly Society could play another elixir collector.
Raintown, don't give up. Every time I see that, good game, it's like, no, you gotta keep fighting.
He's gonna zap the minions.
That's a lot of damage though.
Yeah, but the minions survive. Again,
One
the
health,
difference, yeah,
or
one
full
health, or full health, max damage.
Doesn't
And,
matter at all.
2
Right.
elixir collectors, and this, I mean, admittedly, it's a very difficult situation to come back from. Fly Society is never not going to be at 2 elixir collectors unless he chooses to all in, because he just has so much elixir advantage that he can just repeatedly do that over and over and over again.
Now, right now, Fly Society is holding on to his elixir. He's not even playing it. So technically, he's wasting elixir
Yeah.
as he waits. But it seems like he does not care at all.
Yeah, so the strategy there is just to make sure that he doesn't accidentally commit elixir that he regrets in the end. It's a very, very passive, very safe play. So
Okay.
at the very worst, he just defends inefficiently and then just wins in overtime. But I think Raintown is giving
Yeah,
up. So
Raintown's done.
yeah,
Fly
So,
Society, Fireball for the win. Yeah.
got him.
Got him. Well done. All right, first one,
All right.
Fly Society.
An aggressive deck gets punished by control play, right? Got away with the Elixir Collector, put more Elixir Collectors down, and
Yeah.
then just counter pushed.
Have you seen? I mean, how often have you seen personally someone playing Elixir Collector and just getting destroyed because of it?
It actually. I mean, that is how the last tournament was won.
Oh.
Actually, Clark Kent actually punished Jeff in the finals. In the last game of the final. Actually, scratch that. Hold on, let me think. It was Jeff versus Manufan. Jeff versus Manufan in the playoffs. I think it was a round of 8. Manufan was knocked out by Jeff, and Manufan tried to play an Elixir Collector right at the start. Jeff played a Royal Giant at the bridge. Then he played Ice Wizard in the back. Spear Goblins showed up, and I think the Ice Wizard took them down. And then a Miner was played at the tower, and a Minion Horde was played on the Miner.
Wow.
And then Jeff arrowed the Minion Horde. And then at that
Oh.
time, Manufan was dry of Elixir.
Well played.
And he had a Royal Giant and an Ice Wizard and a Miner knocking down his tower. And he took
Okay,
it. And
so
then
that'll
Jeff,
do it.
yeah.
So
So
making sure it's balanced, making sure
it's very possible to punish an Elixir Collector, but a lot of it comes down to the draw of the hand, right?
Yeah.
You need to make sure you have the right cycle and the right cards in hand to be able to do it. So
All right.
it's a little bit tricky. It is a gamble. So,
Next battle.
all right. Raintown is going to use still his Royal Giant deck, and Fly Society has to change it up, so now he's using a
Another
different
Royal
Royal
Giant.
Giant deck. This one looking a little more standard. He has the arrow, rather he has a zap instead of the arrows, and he has a Musketeer and a Hog Rider, so he's got the double Building Chaser threat, right? This is no Elixir Collector, also remember, so this is a change in playstyles.
Okay. The Hogketeer combo.
The Hogateer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's too strong. Let's find out actually. So if Raintown doesn't win this, he's out.
Yeah.
He needs to win this one. All right, Raintown. Let's do it.
Fly Society. I like that name, by the way. Fly Society. We have Fly Society and a Rain Town. I mean, these are very,
Oh, nice. I didn't see that.
they're very cultured, civilized names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the entire community is behind these guys.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh!
interesting.
A little bit of cheering going on for Raintown there.
Okay, good timing on the cannon. He played the cannon so that the Royal Giant tagged onto it, but the tower is still able to shoot the Royal Giant. Fireball is not going to actually destroy the Musketeer.
Yeah, that's the thing I like about her. She's just tanky enough for a fireball.
Yep. Yep. On even levels, she will survive a fireball, and that is actually super important.
Not this shot.
Oh!
No.
Didn't get it.
Nope.
Good push by Raintown, though. And look, there's no Elixir Collector. So Raintown basically just got away with 1.6k. I mean, Fly Society is 2 Elixir up, and that might come back to bite him. And I like that Fly Society is playing a slow push because he might convert that 2 Elixir into something big, pending any kind of big splash damage scenario that will immediately catch Raintown up. But I would almost say,
Yep.
you know, the good choice would be the Fireball, that Princess, but I would almost say wait on that, play a supporting unit, and see if they play another unit next to the tower that you can also catch. Like, you play that Mini P.E.K.K.A. If you waited just a little bit on Fireballing the Princess, you could have got the Mini P.E.K.K.A. too.
Right. Right.
So you kind of want to, you need to start playing against the player at this level. you
Yeah,
know,
and I
rather
was gonna
than
say
just
how.
like-
I mean, because sometimes you see people predict like they'll just throw out the fireball right as the other person puts down some units, like in the same spot that they're putting the fireball down.
Yeah.
And that really just kind of comes out of knowing, I guess, your player. Nice app.
Jump, Skeletons plus Princess, and the Hog Rider is going to get a
Two?
swing.
Oh, just one.
Okay, Royal Giant plus Princess on the left side. That cannon is going to get eliminated very quickly. Ice Wizard is going to slow down the Royal Giant, but it could get taken down by the Princess and the minions, and this could be a very dangerous situation. Goblins get placed into the Princess Splash. That's a lot of Elixir committed. And one more shot by the Princess, and again, Raintown makes a big push on Fly Society, and this seems like a much more difficult game for Fly Society.
Yeah.
Now that he's lost his Elixir Collector, I think he's having a lot of troubles actually making his Royal Giant Hog Rider deck effective.
Now, how hard is it? You know, do we see, or how hard do you think to have two completely different styles of decks and be good at both of them?
Yeah, I think it's a little bit difficult. You obviously need to practice that in mind. The big thing is on ladder play, you don't really come across that situation very often at all, right? You usually just play your one deck, and
over and over
opponents
and
come and go. You know, you don't really play a singular opponent unless you're really at the tip top of the ladder.
That's true.
So it's very hard to practice like a best of 3 tournament scenario. Good Fireball is going to start chipping away at Fly Society's already weakened left side tower, and keep in mind Fireball does about 200 per tick. So that's maybe 3 fireballs away.
Royal Giant on the right.
Oh no, and the defense is not there.
Oh, no! Pekka!
Ah!
Yeah!
Oh my god.
Well done.
That was so risky.
Woo!
That is good job by Raintown, but
Yeah.
that could have turned really bad
Yeah.
really soon.
So Fly Society committed that Royal Giant over on the right,
yeah.
and thinking like, oh, my guy's gonna take care of the left side.
Yep.
Just didn't quite work.
Yep.
Oh,
All right, we're gonna go to a third game between these two players.
nice.
And now they both have to use their final decks, so Raintown must now use. Ooh, interesting.
Elixir
A
Collector.
Royal Giant, Elixir Collector, Ice Wizard, Poison deck. So this is much more defensive control oriented. Royal Giant, and the poison is going to tick away at that tower slowly every time he casts it. Fly Society again going to use his double building chaser threat deck. I'm interested to see who will end up moving on to the semis.
Woo! All right, guys. Let us know in chat who you think it's going to be. Is it going to be Raintown? Is it going to be Flash Society?
Which one?
3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. We'll find out.
Which one? Which one? All right, both
here.
pulling elixirs.
Starting with Ice Wizard. Both of them.
They're staring at each other. Fly Society leaked about, I would say, 1 elixir right there.
Okay.
Zab is going to take care of the goblins. And this Royal Giant, there's no Ice Wizard to tag onto the Royal Giant, so he's actually going to do pretty well. He could even zap the goblins, but he's going to opt not to.
Ooh. Here comes
Oh, he
you
actually missed the
it!
goblins!
Oh, no. Yep, there's the oops.
That could
Raintown
hurt.
knows.
That could hurt. The minions tag onto the Musketeer rather than Hog Rider. 2 swings. Look at how much
3,
damage the Hog Rider
4,
does!
4. Oh!
my god!
Half health about on that tower from just that
Oh.
one little misplay.
Yep.
That one little miszap.
Yep.
Look at Raintown, good sport about it. Gives a little happies, little thumbs ups. Just put that over the entire time. So no Elixir Collector yet for Raintown.
Yeah, I mean that's also something that hurts when you play Elixir Collector is when it ends up being the last card in your cycle. You waste a good, 1 minute has already passed and he still hasn't played his Elixir Collector, right? You
And-
waste a lot of time.
And it's almost like, when do you find that time to play it?
Yeah. Oh, volleyball.
Yeah. Fly Society looks like, he's just going to keep slowly whittling this down. Wizard even gets a shot off.
482. 1 minute 27 seconds. It can be done. It can be done, but gonna be pretty difficult. Raintown needs to find some way to open up Fly Society's defenses. And just as you called it, oh my god, he has no buildings.
One. Is he going to hit? Yep, that's it.
Oh, okay.
But that's
But-
fireball range, right?
So now Raintown, in 1 minute 10 seconds, he has about 2 pushes. He needs to make sure, okay, he's going to put Elixir Collector, so he's got about maybe like 1.5 pushes left. He needs to defend incredibly well and then counter push very smart.
But if you're Fly Society, right now you're just going like, I got to be on defense and I throw a fireball once it's overtime, right?
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What
So
can you
I
do,
expect,
Raintown?
okay, he's going to actually play the Royal Giant aggressively. He's got poison. He's going to play poison on all 3. But again, that Ice Wizard is just so great. And he's actually committed the fireball not to use.
Yeah.
I think that's a really dangerous choice, but it might just work out for him. Fly Society knew that he was going to be able to defend that. But again, if Raintown had more units to add on to that push.
That would be, 4 elixir down.
Yeah, 4 elixir down and no splash, right? So he can actually clump up a ton of units on that bridge to get very high effectiveness.
Right.
And this time, I don't think it's going to work out.
Yeah, it looks like Raintown knows it. Fly Society as well. Ladies and gentlemen, whoever said Fly Society, looks like you're correct.
That is, yeah, that's unfortunate for Raintown. Elixir Collector was very far at the end of his,
he gonna
his
get
card
2?
cycle.
2 towers? Ah!
Oh, didn't quite get it.
Well
But yeah,
played indeed.
that's the strength of that double threat. Royal Giant, Hog Rider, tons of damage onto your tower. Unfortunate for Raintown, but gets knocked away, and so it won't be his tournament to win. Actually,
No, Fly Society now
Fly Society makes it through.
in the running. So when you have a tower down, let's say you take a tower down early, like Fly Society did, or in other things, what do you generally have the plays to be able to put now your units further? Like, do people do that, or do you still just
Yeah,
keep on
it's
your side of the
actually
map?
one of the things that Royal Giant is best at is once you have one of their towers down,
put
playing
them
the
on their
Royal
side.
Giant on their side is really, really, really good because again, bringing up this term time to tower, the Royal Giant essentially is immediately in range of the tower and will start
Just
attacking.
starts hitting.
Yep.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's super hard to deal with. So what you can do is play every single other unit on your side of the map very safe. And then once they're just about to cross the bridge, you drop the Royal Giant there.
Gotcha.
And they're like, oh, well, the damage is already happening.
Gotcha.
And then you need to, in a rush, play cards to take down the Royal Giant. But then all these assistant units coming from the side.
Okay.
Just eliminate whatever you're trying to use to defeat the Royal Giant. So
The only reason I was thinking why you might not want to do that is because obviously when things are on your side, they're in range of your towers, so you can utilize that extra damage to keep them alive longer. But man, it's Royal Giant instantly in range of towers, and can't argue with that.
All right, let's take a look at the brackets, and we have a few things to do before we move on into the semifinals. We have a raffle to start, and we have this updated semifinals. Fly
Raffle!
Society, Clark Kent, Woody, Nader. So Clark Kent, Woody.
Whoa!
The top
Back
two
at
of the
it
leaderboards. Top two of the leaderboards made it to the semifinals and maybe are going to make it to the finals. Fly Society making a good performance today, and I don't know if he's ever been to the semis. He's been to the round of 8, but he's
Hey.
never made it to the semis. I don't
Then
think.
congratulations, Fly Society.
I don't think. And Naders is kind of the new name here. I think this is the second tournament that he's participating in, and at least the second tournament he's made it to the top 8 in, and he maybe be the one to make the upset. It's really interesting. I feel like these things have seeded themselves already. Right,
Okay.
so like Woody is up against the newer name, right, and then Clark Kent is up against the more veteran name, and that's what you would expect to see for the first place seed and then the second place seed, right? And then if they're not upset based on again the leaderboards, I don't actually know who's clearly the better player, but if they get quote unquote upset, then or rather if they don't get
Right,
quote
it
unquote
goes
upset,
according to quote unquote plan.
yeah, it goes
All
it
these
goes
quote
based on.
unquotes.
Yeah, it goes based on how our leaderboards would emphasize. I personally think so far that Clark Kent is still probably the best player that I've seen play
Yeah.
Clash Royale. Period.
Play any game.
play
Basketball.
Clash Royale.
He's great at golf.
I think so. But Clark Kent is very humble. Usually he comes to the chat and says stuff like right here. Clark Kent, you're a fool.
Clark Kent, you are so humble, and it's so nice.
Clark
It's
Kent.
refreshing.
All right, so enough about that. Let's do the raffle.
Let's get you guys some gems.
Raffle. So the next question is, let me go ahead and make sure that this raffle stuff is set up.
Yep.
Let's reset it. Let's make sure it's closed, and let's open it. And then the question is, what is your playstyle? Is it beatdown? Is it control? Is it siege? Or is it something else that you think doesn't fit, like maybe a hut deck, like a summoner deck? Right? I think that's Christian's favorite kind
That's
of
what I
deck to
run.
play.
I love it.
So exclamation mark raffle space, answer the question. What is your favorite playstyle? Beatdown, control, or siege? And if you guys don't know what those are, beatdown is a very aggressive set deck. You're looking to push down your opponent's tower and just attack.
Right.
Control is looking to play a game of like give and take. You, for example, place elixir collectors down, defend their push very efficiently, and then once you have enough elixir collectors, you push a big army across their side,
Take them down.
and then wreck their tower, right? And then siege is like
What
Woody.
we've seen.
Yeah. Siege is really doing chipping damage.
So you're beat down.
Yeah, I love beatdown. I
Yeah.
love beatdown. So exclamation mark raffle space, answer the question. If you're an iTunes, if you're an Apple user, then only in the United States can we fulfill
US
your
of A.
pricing.
That's right.
If you are a Google Play user, then internationally
Global.
we can fulfill your prize. I'm trying to change the title here, but there we go.
Nice.
All right. So
Doing it all.
So let's see. They're gonna. We're doing it live. Actually, we're gonna spectate these live.
All right.
So
Live matches.
I
Semifinals.
would also like to know who you guys think is gonna take the whole tournament.
Okay. I mean, can I give you my?
Yes, please do, Christian.
I gotta go with Clark Kent.
You gotta go-
I think I love them all. They're all great. I think Clark Kent's gonna take it.
You're with Clark Kent. Okay, so since you said Clark Kent, I'm actually gonna say that maybe it's Woody's time to shine.
Okay.
Just to be devil's advocate, and I
right.
think Woody. Oh goodness, I think they might have. Okay, yeah, okay. I think that it's been difficult for Woody to really make a big performance ever since kind of the balance changes, because the fact of the matter is that Mortar did get nerfed.
Right.
The fact that Woody can make it so far into the tournament consistently means that he's just been playing really well, but it might be I'm not convinced that it's necessarily a peak of his gameplay, but I think his new Mortar deck is really, really strong. So
All right, we'll see.
I think. In the previous tournaments, he's been playing really well, but I think his deck wasn't quite optimized. But that's a very aggressive opening. Arrows for the goblins, but not going to hit the miner, and he's going to have to play an additional card to defend against miner.
Clark Kent already getting that damage in.
Yep.
Not much. A little bit. But in the first couple seconds, pretty good. So, looking at Clark Kent's deck, what would you consider his deck or his style as?
So Clark Kent I mean, in general, I just feel like his playstyle, he just makes really, really good in-game decisions, right? He knows when to split, he knows when to attack, he knows when to push his advantage. He's just very good at reading the flow of the game. By the way, we couldn't deck preview since this is a live match, but already seeing these cards, I know that he's running a triple legendary because there's 3 legendaries that he's played so far, but also in addition with the Hog Rider, I mean, it's one of the decks that we've seen that's become very popular is the Barbarian Hog Rider triple legendary kind of thing.
Look at that fireball.
Yes, but the objective of the Barbarians is already done. Took down the Royal Giant and still has 2k health on that left side tower. Even though they did get fireballed, I mean, the purpose of the Barbarians is to live and die by killing the Royal Giant, right?
So they did it.
Yeah, so they've covered their costs. So the only way to prevent that is to pre-fireball, which is something that I have yet to see anybody do so far in the tournament
risky.
right now.
It's so
very risky,
risky.
but it's one of the quickest ways and best ways to get your Royal Giant to be super effective.
Sure.
Ice Wizard in the back, Royal Giant with a pre-fireball on the Barbarians that they'll want to place to surround your Royal Giant is going to be super strong.
All right,
and he might do it here. You know, when you play a Royal Giant in the back of your base, that means you pull Elixir to be able to play Ice Wizard and then a fireball on top of it. So that could be it. But Miner onto the Collector, and again the arrow onto the minions, and he's not willing to take the risk of trying to hit the Miner with it because based on the positioning, it could be pretty much impossible to do it. And again, the Barbarians place, the Ice Wizard is going to do their work, and that fireball is pretty early.
Oh no!
That fireball is pretty early, and it wasn't a pre-fireball, but that is super effective.
Well done.
And look at how much damage he's going to be able to put onto Clark Kent's towers. But again, Clark Kent, relentless aggression. And this is something that Clark Kent did really well, is cycle his triple legendary miner deck.
Non-stop. Just a little bit of damage.
I mean, that was a big push for Fly Society, but Clark Kent still has Fly Society's tower down to 3 digits of health.
Oh,
and this push is going to be the one that's going to push Clark Kent down to 3 digits of health on his tower. But this time around, I think that Royal Giant... and they spread apart, and they do take down the Royal Giant, and now the Miner is working on that tower here. And this Princess is going to take down all the minions. No, it gets arrowed down.
Oh, no! It's frozen just in time. Oh.
Fly Society is catching up in tower damage. Double Ice Wizard plus the Hog Rider, and this is going to be an interesting push.
We'll see what goes on here. So he puts on the Barbarians surrounding the Ice Wizards. There's 2 of them up, though. Taking out both of them just like that.
Yeah. If a Royal Giant gets played now, I think Fly Society would be in a very good advantage, but I'm not exactly sure if he had it. Here it comes. Maybe a fireball in anticipation of the Barbarians, but we'll see what happens.
He's going to do it.
Oh, he threw the fireball in the tower. He got it!
Oh, brilliantly done! We're like,
Nice.
oh, he's gonna fireball the guys. Oh, he's gonna fireball the guys. Oh yeah, just go for the tower and win the game.
A really good decision for Fly Society. He knew that the Royal Giant was gonna tag on. So one of the other things with Clark Kent's deck is that he, at least as far as I know, he didn't actually have a building in there. So every Royal Giant that is played is guaranteed to get damage onto the tower. Just because unless he can manage to somehow destroy all of the Royal Giant's health in the time it takes from the start of the bridge to the end of the bridge, which is kind of a tall order. Yeah, it's a tall order.
So looking back at what Clark Kent did, do you think there's anything clearly he should have done differently, or did he play kind of just the best to his deck?
It's interesting. I feel like his deck is super hyper aggressive. I almost feel like it's really hard to say because he's really relying on the fact that he's just going to play his Barbarians and take down the Royal Giant and not kind of worry about the Royal Giant getting a few hits off, but then do a counteroffensive that's so strong and constant that he's going to eventually take the tower down and kind of race against Fly Society. But you saw he was leading the race for a long time, but eventually he started falling farther and farther and farther behind, and that might be an effect of being in 2 times Elixir. 2 times Elixir, by the way, as counterintuitive as it sounds, I truly believe it benefits the more expensive decks rather than... You would think a cycle deck, if you have 2 times Elixir, you can cycle even faster, right? But actually, I think there's diminishing returns on it. So the more expensive decks, like the Royal Giant deck, it gets very, very hard to deal with them in 2 times Elixir, and it really changes the dynamic of the game. Also, the fact that even though the elixir is sped up twice, your unit's effectiveness is not sped up twice, right? So it's not exactly the same situation, right? That's why spawner decks are so strong, because they still pull up so many units, like so many spear goblins and barbarians get pulled up, but you have tons of huts now, and they don't diminish themselves quicker. So
right now, so Fly Society is up 1-0 against Clark Kent. If Clark Kent does not win this one,
yeah, he's out. He's out. He's out, Clark Kent.
Uh-oh. But good for Fly Society. Taking it to one of our top
So
our top
Clark
players.
Kent has, as far as I know, Clark Kent has not changed his deck. This is the same one as he played in the first game. But Clark Kent is actually going to opt to play Princess at the Bridge. This means he wants to get damage.
Yeah.
It gives us a little bit of insight into his mindset. He really, really wants to push out damage. Yeah. And that actually might be the change that he needs to play even more aggressive and make sure that he's every single time he's playing a card, he wants to waste no time, because at that last game, he was pretty close.
Great miner.
Yeah, just getting a ton of swipes off. We'll see if this change in attitude will help Clark Kent. He's just playing every single one of his cards to do damage onto the tower, and I think that might be the key to success here.
Well, here comes the 2x elixir now.
Yep, things might get tough. So minion, Ice Wizard, he might play a miner, but it's interesting because the minions will be leading the charge here as opposed to the Ice Wizard. Gets a good amount of damage, and he's gonna go for the left.
Okay.
I like this play, the Hog Rider plus the miner. Goblins in front, but the princess is going to be doing pretty well on that. Nice. And you see he took down the left tower, and that was the tower. The Tell was playing the princess at the bridge, getting that early chipping damage in.
I need to take this down.
Yeah, and I feel like if Fly Society was in the moment and was really reading Clark Kent well, he would have seen that, oh, interesting, why would he play the princess at the bridge? He wants to play super aggressive. I should prepare for a big push. He kind of got faked out with the minion Ice Wizard there. He played a lot of cards on the right side and didn't have enough elixir to defend left, and now Clark Kent is playing super aggressively, and he knows that he has control of this match. He wants to keep Fly Society playing elixir on defense so he can't play another Royal Giant. But 5 more seconds left, and I think Clark Kent might run away with it. Clark Kent ties it up 1-1.
That's right. Just so appropriate going into the finals between these two guys who are at the top. One for Fly Society, one for Clark Kent. Now they both have to play their second decks. The ones Fly Society has to keep this one. We're gonna see a different one from Clark Kent. Which one do you think that's gonna be from Clark? So it's not gonna be the triple legendary anymore.
Ooh, I don't know what Clark Kent's second deck is. I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think I've seen it. All right, so I posted the raffle question. Make sure you guys remember, what is your playstyle? Beatdown, Controller, Siege? ! Raffle space. Give us the answer to that question, and then we'll find the next 3 winners at the end of the semis. Yeah. At the end of the semis for buckets of gems. But currently, intense game between Clark Kent and Fly Society. And Fly Society, remember I told you, I think he hasn't been in a position where he is a tournament winner, but he's done very, very well. And now he's fighting against somebody who is a tournament winner, and he's holding his own.
Right.
The question is Clark Kent's second deck a heavy hitter?
We'll find out. Fly Society up on top in the red, Clark Kent down the blue. Knight starting out on Clark.
It might be a Knight Miner Musketeer.
Okay.
Might be. We'll see.
Now, we just saw Fly Society's last deck because he has to play the same one because he didn't win with it.
Yeah.
So if this is, like you're saying, a Knight Musketeer, does Clark have the advantage? Does Fly have the advantage?
It's really hard to say. I think a lot of it at this level ends up being execution. Zap? Does he have Zap in hand? No, he doesn't have Zap, and the Goblins will deal really well against that Miner. So something interesting to note is the Goblins take 2 shots from Miner to die, and so in that time where the Miner has to take 2 swings at each of the Goblins will do enough damage to take down the Miner.
Wow. Look at that. Royal Giant.
Zap to retarget the Royal Giant onto the cannon, and Clark Kent is trying to keep as much damage as he can off of his own tower. He knows that he needs to do more damage. Right now he's losing the race, and again, both of Clark Kent's decks are very, very aggressive set. If he's losing the race, that's not good for him, because the instant it hits 2 times Elixir, he gets farther and farther behind.
Sure.
The fact that he hasn't done a lick of damage onto Fly Society's towers is really, really bad news for him.
All right, we'll see what he can do to come back from. There's still 1 card missing from Clark Kent. What do you think it is?
I have no idea. Maybe it might be a direct damage spell. I don't know. Knight just in time to protect the Musketeer.
Wow!
Just in time.
What a position.
And now he's playing a clump of units. He knows the Fireball is down. He might even play the Miner here to try to defend. No, the Musketeer gets taken down, and maybe he needs to zap the Goblins again, but again he doesn't have it, and the cycling is just not quite good. Something that was really great about Clark Kent in the previous turns as I looked at his games was he's really good at controlling the cycle of his cards. But he did end up actually zapping, so he did have it in hand. He just opted not to do it on the Goblins. I don't know what he's waiting for.
but it's amazing to see so many units go right onto the tower for Clark Kent, but not a single one actually touch it.
Yep. Yep. The defense for Fly Society is absolutely pristine.
He's doing great.
It's getting very difficult. 2 times Elixir, and still Clark Kent has made no leeway on the tower.
Oh.
And as you notice, there's not a big hitting unit like a Mini P.E.K.K.A. or a Giant or a Royal Giant in Clark Kent's deck, so his deck needs
Hog
consistent
Rider.
damage over a certain amount of time. Miner onto the Musketeer. Hog Rider's going to get taken down by the Goblins, and the Ice Wizard is slowing down the Royal Giant, not even a single hit of damage, and that was well played by Clark Kent. Good, efficient defense, and he really bid his time and played his cards out well. Now Fireball is played, and Clark Kent might be able to start some kind of slow, like Miner combination push. He's gonna use the last card is the Mini P.E.K.K.A.
All right,
and I was talking about there was no big damage. Zap away the goblins. No, the Mini P.E.K.K.A. actually gets distracted.
No.
He doesn't quite land a connection, but that was the big card that he was holding in his pocket, is the Mini P.E.K.K.A. He played it now and didn't get much benefit out of it, and now he needs to make another miracle happen. He needs to defend against this Royal Giant. Play the cannon a little bit too early. You notice that the tower is actually not doing any damage right now. And the Ice Wizard Musketeer combination in the back is going to be doing a ton of DPS.
Oh, no. Finally, he breaks it. Royal Giant goes down. Musketeer targeting the Musketeer. Now he should be able to take down the Wizard, maybe.
Every single time Fly Society, there finally is a zap on the Goblins, and I feel like that was a play that Fly Society, or rather Clark Kent, needed to do earlier on, but I'm not sure what he was saving that zap for. Fly Society is playing incredibly well in this series right now.
Looks like he's on track to take down one of the top players right now, Clark Kent, the guy I was rooting for. But Fly Society, if you do this, more power to you.
Oh
What
god,
a
this is a tough push. He's got the cannons to draw the Hog Rider away, and maybe Goblins. There's a Fireball. Smart play for Clark Kent not to commit the Goblins at that point in time. I'm not sure if he had it in cycle, but this is a good choice to use the Goblins in the front line. They're going to weaken a lot of the units, and the Musketeer is going to pick off without taking any tower damage. So far, very heroic hold for Clark Kent, but I don't know how much longer he can keep this up.
No, it's so much damage.
No, it's in overtime. He needs to take it down.
Society, he's got it. No, he's got the Fireball. One more shot. It's over. Fireball
The Fireball
from
is
Fly
it.
Society is going to take down Clark Kent. And Fly Society is going to be one of our finalists.
Goodbye, Clark Kent.
Hey, I'm very happy to be proven wrong. Congratulations,
The
Fly
curse.
Society.
The curse
broken.
might continue. No back-to-back winner, but that's
No
only half the
curse.
curse. The back-to-back was impossible, but the other part of it is we haven't had any 2-time first-place winners at all.
Oh, okay.
So Woody is still in the running.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see if the curse holds strong.
Fly Society played incredible. I can't stress enough how well Fly Society dealt with that situation. I'm super curious how that game would have played out if every single time, because the line of play was Miner, and then the Goblins on top of Miner, and it ended there. Clark Kent was
No
unwilling
zap.
to play out that situation, and I don't know if that's just because Clark Kent has seen that so many times that he knows that even if he did that, it wasn't going to be effective.
Interesting.
I don't know if that was the case. But I am curious. I really wonder what would have happened if Clark Kent would have zapped those Goblins out consistently.
Now, when Clark Kent finally played his P.E.K.K.A., his Mini P.E.K.K.A., and it was like, that's the trump card. That was the one he's been holding on to the entire game, and it got taken down. Is that kind of like a very huge letdown for Clark Kent? Like, that was my final hurrah, and it just got canceled immediately.
Yeah, I think so. I really think so. That Mini P.E.K.K.A. really needed to be much more effective, and it's a shame that it didn't really land its connection. But we're flying right into the next game, and
Woo!
apologies
Don't
we
waste
missed the
time.
first. We missed the first part of it, but here we go.
All right, here. So we have the
That's a pretty big
Princess.
push.
little
Gonna play
distraction there.
small units to try to keep it away. The minions have been tanking for the Mini P.E.K.K.A. and the
Gosh,
Princess has
Mini
been clearing out
P.E.K.K.A.
the chump units. And zaps away the Princess. The Miner doesn't get a good swing on the tower, and Woody survives with the lesser of two evils. Either take the Miner's damage or take the Mini P.E.K.K.A's damage, and he chose the Miner's, which I think was the right choice.
All right. So now, so my guy's out. Clark Kent's out. Woody, your guy is in right now.
Yeah, and he seems to be doing fairly well. Interesting that he might not have an option. Okay, he fireballs just in time. It was the elixir. He didn't quite have the elixir to do it, but Minion Horde, if you ever have a Minion Horde get up to your tower somehow,
Oh, it starts doing damage.
it's
Oh, it
that
starts
tower
doing
is
some
gone.
serious damage. So looking at Woody's deck right now, style obviously mortar, defense, trying to do the siege play. What's Nader's looking at?
Naders is playing a Miner combination, a Miner Mini P.E.K.K.A. So this is not the triple legendary version of the Miner. This is the Mini P.E.K.K.A. version with a zap.
Okay. Inferno Tower. All right.
Chump units again, and that's the key way to defend against a mini P.E.K.K.A is just to use chump.
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 All right. It's a fun name. Chump.
Chumpy chump.
Jump. 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 All right. Oh, there's the tank.
Oh, yep. Minion Horde is being tanked up by the miner, and Woody has to have some AoE. He has to have some splash for this Minion Horde. A Fireball's coming down, and oh my goodness,
Oh my
Naders could do a
gosh.
ton of damage right now.
That Minion Horde just took out so many units. Took down a cannon from Woody.
Yeah.
Took down almost a mortar. Took below half.
It was fairly elixir inefficient for Woody, and he lost quite a lot of health on his tower. And this could be a big. He plays the goblins, or rather the skeletons, around the miner, and now the goblins are around the mini P.E.K.K.A, and that's a dangerous situation. He's gonna try to further distract the mini P.E.K.K.A with a cannon.
Worked.
Doesn't get the splash onto the tower. Ideally, Naders would like the princess that he was attacking to splash onto the tower,
Oh, okay.
but he didn't quite get it.
Yeah, looks like Nader's just trying to slowly chip away.
I'm
Woody's
pretty sure the
tower with
last
that
card in this
miner.
deck is a rocket. Oh!
Oh my god!
Oh no! The minions!
It's gonna do it! Whoa, he's gonna hit it!
Oh!
Takes it down! Naders with the first win against Woody.
Oh my
the
goodness!
curse is starting
Oh
to
my
creep in.
goodness!
Oh
I
man.
don't know if we will ever see a repeat winner in the Super.
We might have
Magic Cup
both been
ever.
wrong.
Yeah, yeah,
That'd
and
be- All right.
interesting. Oh my goodness!
Good game. Good game indeed. I didn't. I mean, there was just so much pressure from Naders. Woody just seemed like he couldn't respond to it.
Yeah,
Did he have any? Any AOE besides?
yeah. I think it was the fireball. I mean, he has rocket, but you're not going to be rocketing minion hordes,
Right.
I
That's gonna
mean,
be
maybe in
waste.
a desperate situation you would, but the key thing to note was that Woody just had to constantly play multiple cards to deal with the mini P.E.K.K.A to make sure it didn't hit his tower, and that ended up becoming very, very elixir inefficient for him over
okay.
time.
Okay.
But we'll see. I mean, maybe Woody's going to be playing his poison deck. But another version of the miner deck for Naders.
Yep. Yeah, we got the miner, Hog Rider.
Interesting. Miner Hog Rider is an interesting combination. Again, players are very lean towards playing very aggressive decks in the meta currently.
Okay.
Royal Giant, Miner, Hog Rider, all these are very aggressive cards. Woody in many ways is kind of he's a kind of a dinosaur.
He's just keeping it old school.
Yeah.
What are you rocking old school right now? But Naders one more victory, and that's it. He goes on to the finals.
Yeah, he goes on to the finals, and both Woody and Clark Kent, the two
Out.
players that
are on top.
yeah, the top two in the leaderboards might just get dunked in the semifinals.
Oh.
I mean, it's still a very difficult journey to get all the way to the semis, but still.
Right now, Woody does though have more damage on Nader's tower. They're on the right side. One thing I did notice too last time is Woody had his damage was split between both the towers. He had some damage on the right, some damage on the left. And when you see that, is that kind of a situation gone awry? Like, why would you ever try to spread your damage between two separate towers?
So a lot of it comes down to, this is a strategy that you want to employ kind of early on in the match, just to pull your opponent's defenses apart, right? Just to make sure that they're keeping honest with the amount of elixir they're committing to one side or the other.
Okay.
Right? Splitting your damage means that they have to split their units. For example, if you were to put a Royal Giant on one side and a Mini P.E.K.K.A and something else on the other side, now you can't just play one unit and handle both unless it's kind of a defensive building. But in many situations, players can get mixed up by that.
Okay. All right. Now we're in 60 seconds left, times 2 elixir. Woody is ahead on damage.
Goblins to answer for the miner, and now
Zap.
they're getting zapped. That's what we were talking about with Clark Kent.
Yeah.
It's such a smart response, and
Oh.
skeletons come in, and
Whoa!
oh my god!
What a pullback there. Putting the cannon down to draw 25 health, though. The miner's just going to swing once. Naders is going to take the damage.
38 seconds left, 35
Oh.
seconds, and a siege deck is not very good at burst, but he does have rocket. He just needs maybe one mortar shot. One mortar shot and a rocket and fireball might be able to do it. He has 26 seconds. The game is not over yet.
All right. Oh, no. That mortar looks like it's not going to be able to spawn right over it. Nope. This is not looking good
it's
for
tough.
Woody right now.
It's tough. He has aggressive positioning. Woody wants to play the mortar in range of the tower, but the fact that he can play the barbarians in the back,
That's it. Here comes the rocket. 10 seconds. It's not going to be enough damage, is it?
he
Nope.
could try to cycle. He could try to cycle
Can
to
he
the
zap
fireball. He needs to throw the fireball right now.
Is it zapping?
Ah,
no!
goodbye.
Woody is
See ya.
out. The curse remains. We are not going to have back-to-back on top victors here for the Super Magical Cup. Naders and Fly Society are our finalists.
Ah,
Congratulations, gentlemen.
wow.
We got proved wrong. It's so good. Feels good.
Fly Society
Hey!
and Naders. Fly Society and Naders.
Yeah.
Once again, we have new people on the throne.
So good. It's so awesome that like continually we're having these people up on top. It just shows, just the dedication to guys in the community. I want to see what the other things they kind of do. I was reading chat, and they're talking about how like Fly Society, I think they were mentioning him, is doing like other tournaments during the week, and it'd be so fun to see kind of how they're doing, apart from just this tournament. And if it's kind of good game, holy moly, good game, Woody. Well played, Naders. That was Naders' response there.
And right he was. I mean, that was an insane game. Let's close out this raffle and start the last one. So
Yeah.
we're gonna pick 3 new winners here before we go on to the finals. All right, I'm closing the raffle and we're gonna draw our winners now. Our first winner is Ghost Rare 88, and he says my playstyle is control wise as I have the most success playing this way. So he likes playing control. And I think control and Huts are kind of similar. Huts is a lot about defending and making sure you get away with the elixir cost of the Huts, and then ending up with this big push that you look to take down the tower with.
Then you drop a rage spell.
Goodness.
That's what I do. It's quite fun.
All right, so congratulations to Ghost Rare 88 for winning the first bucket of gems for this second to last raffle. There's 2 more winners for this particular question. Let's draw the next winner is going to be Monster Man 84. And why don't you go ahead and read that answer out?
Monster Man says defense into offense is my favorite. So does that be the control, like the best defense is a good offense?
Yep, that would be also control. And I feel like a lot of players are starting to favor control. So it doesn't exactly play out this way, but in terms of if you were to think of it as rock, paper, scissors, Siege tends to be much better against Control. Control tends to be much better against Beatdown. Beatdown tends to be much better against Siege.
Huh, okay. All right.
So I think a lot of people are kind of sitting at Control just because there's a lot of Beatdown decks right now in the meta.
Makes sense. All right, final one.
Vahiria says, Control, I'm okay with 1 crown wins. And all 3 of them play Control.
Control is definitely, it seems like the meta, at least for our winners.
Yeah. Control is very valuable right now just because the strong decks normally are beatdown decks in this current meta. So
I like how it's like they're okay with the 1 crown wins.
Yeah.
Which is
you
something
need
that
to be
you
at
need
some
to
point.
be okay with 1 crown wins.
At
You
a
can't
certain
be going
point.
for the 3s.
All
Although
right.
it's great.
All right, so the last raffle question is 3 more winners for buckets of gems to give away. The last question is, I'm going to go ahead and reset the raffle now, and we're going to immediately open
Yeah,
the
let's
next
just get
raffle.
this going.
The last question is going to be, what legendary card do you most wish you have? What legendary card do you most wish you have? I most wish I had the princess because I think the princess is the strongest legendary card.
Okay, all right. I'm trying to think. So with my style, it's all about Huts. I literally run every spawner that there is in the game, which I mean all that stuff. So I'm trying to think what would be a good legendary to accompany that. Maybe I don't know, Lava Hound maybe, because he spawns more guys.
Yeah, that's true.
That's Lava
That's
Hound.
true. And tanky cards usually assist Hut decks very well
wave
because it
building.
starts building a ton of units in
Yeah,
the back.
Lava Hound for sure. That's
Lava
mine.
Hound. Cool. All right. Let's move on to the finals. Fly Society and Naders. Oh, man.
A lot of miners in the chat though. A lot of people want miners apparently.
Yeah, Miners, I mean, they're in the meta.
Miners, please.
They're in the meta.
Best
They're
legendary
the new
ever.
card, they're the shiny card, they're the meta, but the princess will always remain.
Jeez. And the best friend, the Ice Wizard. No one wants Ice Wizard. I haven't seen any Ice Wizards yet, right?
Yeah, I think it's just because he's blue.
Oh, hey, Ice Wizard for a strong defense. There it is. Now, what about Sparkies? Would you not want a Sparky?
Yeah, Sparky. I mean, Sparky is fun. It's not quite as practical.
He's just fun.
Yeah,
He's like a fun
he's
thing
fun.
to have.
I mean, maybe I would love a Sparky because I would spend all my time trying to make it practical, but
Yeah.
I think I would fail pretty hard at that.
No, you'd be good. You'd be great. I think. Let's see. A Sparky. Let's think as we're waiting for this next one. Let's kind of think this through. Adding a Sparky. If you're trying to play something that gets distracted easily, so you need something that clears. So maybe an AOE. So Bomber, maybe Skeleton Bomber behind it, so he clears out any
Yeah.
AOE before, maybe in front of it.
I've seen Sparky Dark Prince too. That's actually something
I
that
haven't
I've
seen
seen
that.
before.
Princes. We haven't seen those guys in
Yeah.
a long time.
Yeah, the princess remains, but the princes are gone.
Aw. Well.
That was almost a tongue twister.
Fa-
The princess remains, but the princes are gone.
Sounds super epic.
Yeah.
Put that on a T-shirt. People would totally understand what that meant. All right,
Goodness.
this is it. This is the finals.
Yeah, this is the finals.
Ladies and
Naders
gentlemen, we're
versus Fly Society, and upset both Woody and Clark Kent. Goodbye. 3rd and 4th place finishes for the both of them.
Well battled, gentlemen. So, second place getting 4 chests. First place, 7 chests they're taking home.
Yeah.
Both these guys want this.
Oh.
Nice fireball there. That's what's so nice. Look at that.
Oh
That
my.
one fireball makes all the barbarians one shot from the tower.
Yep. And the minion horde or the minions.
Bye.
Goodbye.
So, okay, looking at Naders, looking at Fly Society, styles of deck. We have an Elixir Collector.
The existence of Elixir Collector means control, and we've seen Fly Society play this deck. He's playing control, and I believe it's going to be a Royal Giant. Is his main push? There
Yep,
it is.
There it is.
And Hog Rider.
Miner.
So it's a Hog Miner deck. Minions to defend against the Miner, and that's going to be super effective. Meanwhile, the Royal Giant is getting super slow because of the Ice Wizard, taken down by the Princess and the Goblins. And fairly good defense on both sides. Pretty ineffectual push.
Yeah.
Fly Society comes out with an Ice Wizard on top.
He is great for defense, the Ice Wizard.
Yeah.
Slowing down units, AoE. Now, okay, if an Ice Wizard's targeting, let's say, a Royal Giant, and minions fly over the top of the Royal Giant, is the splash going to affect them as well?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yes.
there's no, like, rain, there's no, like,
Yeah.
air only.
Yeah.
there.
Only, for example, the Bomber, who actually cannot target air himself.
That'll not.
Yeah. That'll not hit. Now, the other big question is, oh, wow. This is actually a huge push to minions again. The fact that the minions are being tanked for, oh my god.
I've seen that so many times. Like, 1 health minions
Yeah.
just wrecking towers.
194 Fly Society in a bad position. And as I was saying, the two that we would have to consider in terms of their splash damage is the bombs that they leave behind from like the giant skeleton and the balloon. I'm not exactly sure. I think they hit air units
That
too,
is air.
but
Yeah, that definitely does air.
Miner minions against the Miner, and this is a big push.
One more hit. Oh!
There's no fireball in Nader's deck. This might be the end of Nader's.
There's Zap, though. Nader does have Zap.
There's
He's got to
Zap.
survive.
Nice. The fireball, I think just a moment too late. He would have ideally liked his Royal Giant to be much more healthy when that happened. Arrows onto the deck and a second Royal Giant, and he might have another Ice Wizard in the back. We'll see.
Just defend. If Nader, if Nader's defends, do you think is the Zap enough to take it down?
Yeah, I think so, but I don't think he's gonna need to.
Oh, yeah. He's just gonna throw a miner.
Yeah.
That's fine.
There it is. Tower's down. Man, Nader's great first game.
Absolutely.
Great first game. Just so many threats coming out of these Miner decks. The Miner, the Hog Rider, and then unexpectedly the Minions, because they get supported by things like the Ice Wizard and the Miner and all these other tanky cards that pop up. Just so effective, and if you let one through, Fly Society just let that 2 sets of minions through, and
Yeah.
that was his tower down to 129 health.
I never realized how tanky Ice Wizards were until they start taking tower shots. They really don't go down quick at all.
Ice Wizards do very little damage, but they're very tanky, and they also have the utility of slowing things down. In solo pushes, people don't tend to really like them just because they're kind of really slow at doing what they do, but they get exponentially better once you start assisting them with different cards.
Gotcha. Yep, and there we see it. Okay, so Naders takes the first one. If he wins one more, he takes a championship here.
he takes Super Magical Cup number 6.
Number 6.
Each 6 Super Magical Cups, 6 champions.
6 different champions.
6 different champions.
Never a repeat. Not today, at least. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe next weekend.
Yeah.
But right now, Fly Society. So we're gonna see him. Do you think if you were Fly Society, would you switch or would you stay with the same deck? Naders is so aggressive.
I would, as a player, I would research Nader's deck and see, because he's forced onto the second deck, right? So
Right.
you have to figure out what will work for you, and eventually that's not even really gonna matter because you're gonna have to go back and play him with your other deck that you switched away from anyway.
Right. I guess it's like, is this deck weaker against what I'm running now?
Yeah.
Because if you can force him out of it, and then hopefully the second one he plays, you're better at. But
Yeah.
here we go.
Yeah. Nader's Fly Society. Oh, we're so many players eliminated, and we're down to this now, Christian.
All right, looks like Fly Society is running pot. I mean, we've only seen the Elixir Collector, but that's what he ran last time. So maybe the same deck.
Nice. He actually, interesting. He zapped the Ice Wizard to let the minions stay alive a little bit longer. But I wonder if that was worth it. The Miner was played on the tower intentionally as opposed to onto the Elixir Collector, and that's a good fireball.
And that's a good fireball.
Yeah, that's a good fireball.
And that's a great fireball.
Anytime you have an excuse to throw a fireball at a tower and units, just
Just do it.
do it.
If it's not going to cost you the game. Have we been pronouncing Nader's name? Is it just Nader $?
Yeah, that's a good.
Just Nader money?
It
Nader
is
money?
interesting. Usually you play this combination with a minor, but you just played it naked.
Huh.
It got one swing.
And that one swing does so much
Yeah.
damage.
That one swing.
Worth it.
Interesting thing to note, he's now not going to have a mini P.E.K.K.A to defend against this Royal Giant.
Okay.
Oh, no!
Just too late.
Oh,
Did
no.
that fireball get every unit right there for Nader?
Yeah.
And the tower?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well played indeed.
Well played. And so 2 big missteps for each player now. One was that the cannon was played too late, got fireballed out. The other one was the mini P.E.K.K.A got snuck through. The
Right.
ninja mini P.E.K.K.A
Right.
got one swing. And that is a ton of damage. Minions coming through. They're being tanked for.
This
Where's
is
the
it.
cards are going
This
to play
is
to
it.
defend? Oh my god, one of the minions is actually on the tower.
Now, so that I think that's so well played though from Fly Society, putting the barbarians there just to tank
Yeah.
instead of the tower.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely a good choice. Definitely a good choice.
Woo! Nader's in the lead ever so slightly.
Yeah, 2 elixir ahead for Fly Society, so he can still make a play that will do a good amount of damage, but the next play, it comes down to how well Naders is going to be able to handle this particular situation. Again, mini P.E.K.K.A running across the
And
river.
just by himself.
Yeah. And maybe that's just to
bait
force
out.
to force Fly Society to either play chump cards that would likely be supporting the Royal Giant if he hadn't, or just to play elixir so that he can't support his Royal Giant as
Oh
well.
no. Okay. Oh, that's a minion horde. Arrows. So powerful.
Oh
so powerful.
god, and he still has barbarians.
Yeah. Oh, 2 royal giants. That's gotta be it. There's no way.
Oh
Nader's
god,
coming back from this one.
Nader $. But here comes a mini P.E.K.K.A minor combination, and he could zap the tower. No, he's gonna zap. Oh goodness! And the minions actually sustain it. This is what we're talking about.
This is the tanking. The fireball goes in. Oh, the canyon though, or the cannon is gonna start tanking there from the minions.
13 seconds left. He needs to make something happen. Maybe another minor play. And here it comes digging. But what's the response? There's no. The ice wizard is far
No,
away.
Yeah, he's not gonna tank it for him.
He needs to
He has a
cycle.
fireball.
He needs to cycle to fireball as quick as he can.
Fireball.
I think
fireball,
he has one more.
Fireball.
No!
We're gonna keep going. Just in the last second, overtime. Here
Oh
it
my.
comes.
Nader $ lives on.
Nader $, just in. Oh, we gotta go back and watch that. That was ridiculous.
Oh my god.
Oh my heart. Oh my heart.
Oh goodness.
It's not over yet.
Oh my goodness. Fly Society has to be super nervous at this point. If he somehow loses a game that he had the advantage in to lose a tournament.
No. Yeah, hopefully Fly Society does not go on tilt from this one. Again, Nader $ just needs this victory to be the 6th Super Magical Cup winner. Fly Society trying to defend.
Mini
trying to
P.E.K.K.A is
stay
being
alive.
played onto the Royal Giant now, and this time I feel like Nader is taking a much more passive approach. He's gonna actually go on the counteroffensive,
Minor all the way.
and the ice Ice Wizard was ready to defend against that minor.
Yep.
But so many minions!
Oh, arrows! So many minions. Where'd they go? Where'd the minions go?
Now Nader was trying to make a read on the card cycle of Fly Society. He's trying to catch Fly Society without arrows, but every time Nader plays Minion Horde, Fly Society is answering with the arrows, so he's saving it for that occasion.
So much damage there coming out from Fly Society.
Oh
on
my
Nader's
God!
tower.
This is dangerous. The next 2 plays,
Fireball.
the next 2 plays needs to be impactful for Naders. Ice Wizard is going to be played in response. Yep.
Gosh.
Princess is going to start doing ticking damage, but this is not enough. He needs to do much bigger damage if he wants to come back in this situation.
Yeah.
Royal Giant drop. No!
Good game to well
Fly
played.
Society
Hey!
ties it up. He ties it up.
Done.
He ties it up.
Oh, Nader's staying alive so beautifully. I
Oh
mean,
my goodness.
Is there any way to quickly go back and watch that just final second, or should we just wait until the end?
I think we should wait because
Alright.
there's a chance that they could open the next game
Right now. Good call.
Yeah, we need to.
Oh.
Oh my.
You guys can't read chat, but Fly Society said he's about to have a stroke.
He's about to have a zerk.
He was
That he had the win in his hands and it
and then he got it back.
and then he got it
Oh,
back.
I got it.
Oh man.
Hashtag
The
redeemer.
minion play was smart by Naders, but just not applied at the right time. He
Yeah.
had the wrong read. The arrows came out and just.
Now, okay, so we were talking about arrows versus zap earlier. If Fly Society had zap there instead of arrows, do you think that would have been a completely different story? Or would it still
Probably
done the
not in that
same?
situation because he didn't have a minor down. because then the King Tower and the Arena Tower would have just been picking off
okay, that
the
makes sense.
minions. What makes it super strong is that imagine a situation where you only had zap, but the miner was tanking the tower, and then you zap the minions. They're all super low, but there's no extra
Oh, and they
damage.
can just keep
yeah,
going.
and
Yep.
so they'll keep going.
All right, this is it. Ladies and gentlemen, Naders and Fly Society, let us know right now in the comments who you think is going to take it.
Early start, Mini P.E.K.K.A. accompanied by minions. And that seems to be a common combination that Naders likes to play. I wonder what he identifies. I mean, it seems to be fodder for splash damage spells. Hog Jump is the
Wow.
answer. Minion Horde is going to take down, do a lot of damage.
Oh,
and though Ice Wizard actually
Fireball.
slowed it down and earned the Hog maybe 1 or 2 more swings.
Wow.
That is a big push
Wow.
for Fly Society. He is starting this game in gusto.
He just throws up one of these. Just throwing up one of these.
He has to be feeling good about that play, but as we saw in the last game, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen.
Oh, that's interesting. The Musketeer did not turn around. I thought definitely
Yeah.
the miner would have been in
Just,
range there.
just barely out of range. Mini P.E.K.K.A. to answer the Musketeer is going to be great. And again, the minions to assist the Mini P.E.K.K.A. This is the reason why he put the minions on top.
Wow.
Oh my
Wow,
god!
This is it. This is
One
gonna be
more swing.
So much damage.
Oh, if the Mini P.E.K.K.A. got the second swing, that tower would have been down to 3 digits of health. But still a big play. And again, a game that Fly Society looked like he had the advantage in. Now
Starting to
is
slip.
even.
Starting to slip.
But the question is, Fly Society has a Hog Rider on hand. I know this for a fact. How is this next Hog play going to be defended?
Royal.
That's right. He has a double threat deck.
Royal Giant.
He has a
Alright.
double threat. Play the Ice Wizard, then play the Fireball. Don't play the Fireball first. Play the Ice Wizard, then play the Fireball.
All right,
Patience.
He does it.
Okay. Answer. Okay, he's going to play the cannon to answer that. He really wants to make sure that he sends every single one of his units on offense.
Yep. Good cannon placement there. Oh, man, that P.E.K.K.A. Oh, that P.E.K.K.A. did so much damage.
He missed the Princess.
Oh, no, the Princess is alive.
That's-
He did.
That might
Oh,
hurt him a lot. He
oh.
needs to play another card to handle the Princess.
Okay. It got one shot. Not super bad.
Every
Now-
single lick of damage counts, Christian.
But Naders just zapped those goblins.
Yeah.
I'm assuming trying to save the princess.
Yeah.
But he didn't, so it's kind of a waste of a zap.
I mean, it's a 2 for 2, right?
Okay, so I guess okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Again, Minion Horde defense. The cannon is going to distract the Royal Giant. Look at how much damage the Minion Horde did. The Royal Giant is already dead.
and
It
that
couldn't even
P.E.K.K.A.
finish off the cannon.
Decent push there.
Hog Rider is up, and this is a dangerous push. He doesn't have the cannon anymore. Oh,
no.
God, it runs
This is
straight
gonna
through.
be a
The
lot.
Musketeer on the
They're gonna
tower.
try a
He's
trade.
going for the trade.
Yeah, he's just gonna
He
go
needs
for
to.
it.
Minion Horde on top of all those units, but they get split up.
And the Hog doesn't get more damage on his main tower.
Oh, God, the Princess in the back is trying to assist. 518 health, but the Fireball's going to take down
Oh,
everything.
Well done. 8 seconds left.
Oh
It
my
looks like
God!
Fly
He has
Society-
one card that's not revealed. I
Is it a
don't know
rocket?
what it is. It's not gonna be a rocket.
No, that's it. Oh, Fly Society.
The
Taking
double
it.
threat: Hog Rider, Royal Giant. Play the cannon to defend against the Hog, or rather, play the cannon to defend against the Royal Giant. Have to deal with the Hog afterwards without another building to distract the Hog.
Hog just went straight through. Don't forget about Hog, guys. You gotta defend against the Hog.
Oh my goodness!
Well done.
Fly Society
Woo!
takes first place, and I'm extremely curious where he is placed on the leaderboard because he is definitely there. He will launch himself up a ton of positions. Now you can see Fly Society, the third from the bottom, gets 1,000 points, and he's going to be at 1350. That's going to put him all the way up at fourth place.
Going from third to bottom to fourth place in the
Fourth.
leaderboard.
Place. Oh goodness. And Naders himself gets put onto the board, winning 500. So he's going to actually take, I think that's 6th place, because he's going to be a new entrant over Jeff. And Jeff, who got 6th place last time, had to face against Raintown early on.
Wow.
And he got knocked out early. So these points are going to be changing all over the place. So
Well, great games though. The two of the top players that we thought were both gonna make it in. Oh yeah, if the leaderboards go the way they should, then yeah, that's gonna be it. They're gonna be Woody and it's gonna be Clark Kent. None of them made it. And we have Fly Society taking the lead. Congratulations, Fly Society.
all right. So before we close out the raffle, just a few interesting things to say that I'm looking at in chat right now in the clan. Fly Society says welcome over at 613 anytime for a duel, and I have to imagine that means his clan.
yeah.
So Shout out to 613, Fly Society representing. He earns the first place spot. His clan should definitely be featured. And Naders from Elite Gaming, that's Clash with Ash's clan. Jason, the Gentle Giant Dude, Helsinki Jason,
Lot of
that's
names.
his clan. Yeah, a lot of names. And Manu Fan, a lot of Clark Kent, I believe, also from Elite Gaming. A lot of people. But 613 putting themselves on the board before it was just really Elite Gaming and
Let's
and,
go.
yeah, before it was just Elite Gaming and Sumo, but now 613 is there.
All right.
So let's man, we had a lot of games today. Congratulations
Raffle
to Fly Society for taking first place. That was sick.
That was pretty sweet.
That was sick.
I mean, Naders with such a close, like staying alive there, almost came back. Fly Society though stayed strong. Very aggressive double threats. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
I never played against that at my level.
Yeah, it's
And
very
I
very
don't
strong.
want to.
It's very very strong. Well executed. It's very dangerous. All right. Closing out the raffle, guys, last 3 winners for our viewer giveaways. Let's draw the first winner here.
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
It's going to be Sir Night Geo, and he says the miner.
He wants the miner.
He wants the miner. He wants the miner.
You see how effective it is today.
He likes sad-sounding music. He likes...
That's fine.
Oh.
Miner is pretty great.
Yeah, the
Takes-
miner,
takes a
I mean,
while.
as we've seen in this tournament and the last tournament, the miner is a staple for many decks right
Yep.
now.
Yep.
Very strong for beatdown decks. Very good for cycling. He wants the miner.
All right,
Let's-
Sir Knight. Hope you get it, Sir Knight. Hope you get that.
And Christian, who is our next winner here?
Man of Bricks 841. He says miner because I love the Goblin Barrel, and why not 2?
And why not?
And
two?
why not 2? I like
He
that.
just
Man
wants
of
to be
Bricks.
throwing things over to the opponent's side of the map.
Just really quickly, that reminded me of a deck that I watched on the Clash Royale, like some of the top players.
Uh-huh.
This guy's entire deck was just damaging the main tower, not
Yeah.
even focusing on the two-sided ones, just taking down the main tower with miners, with Goblin Barrels, Fireballs, and he won.
Oh wow,
He didn't do any damage. He got 3 crowns.
that's basically like a CG deck.
It was
you know?
crazy. That was amazing.
It's pretty CG.
Yeah.
All right, the last winner here is gonna be Max Rising. Max Rising says, I like the Valkyrie so much because her splash is key, and with stab goblins behind her pushes her really fasty, which I think means fast. So what he's talking about is if you play the Valkyrie and you play the goblins behind, the goblins will, because the goblins move really fast, they'll push the Valkyrie really fast across the map.
Oh,
Actually,
I mean,
this is actually the wrong answer. Sorry, I
Yeah.
announced the wrong winner. This is not answering our question, but that's actually a really interesting statement.
Yeah.
I completely forgot.
that's
It was
not
so
legendary.
It was so interesting to me that I was like, oh yeah, that's a really good point. I like that combination a ton.
when did Valkyrie become legendary?
Oh my goodness.
I have a legendary?
I mean, Valkyrie should be legendary. She's a really great card. All right. Sorry, Max Rising. I completely just blanked. Apologies, but thank you for the
Yeah. It is a very interesting. I'm gonna try that out.
All right. So the actual winner, again, apologies. The actual winner is going to be the Clash King 88, and he says Ice Wizard for a strong defense. Ice Wizard for a strong defense is a
Saw
great
it.
choice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, minor Ice Wizard. It's no surprise that the 2 most used legendaries are the ones that people want the most.
Yep. No one. We didn't have any princess.
Yeah.
The winner.
Yeah.
No one said princess.
They didn't say princess. No, everybody's laughing at me for making a mistake. I'm so sorry, Max.
Valkyrie's legendary dog face. I agree. 100% agree.
Oh man, I'm so sorry. Christian, there are times in our lives where we realize we do things that we can't take back,
Oh yeah, but that's the beauty of the internet. It's filled with nice people who are forgiving. You know.
who are forgiving.
That's the internet.
and they never lie.
Definition.
And they never lie.
I need a legendary Valk now. Yeah, Mr. Memorone. I need a legendary Valk
A
too.
legendary Valkyrie would be cool, and I'm still waiting for Supercell.
She just nonstop spins.
Oh yeah, just
Nonstop. She's just a
you
whirlwind.
spin me round.
And she plays that. That's her song when you drop her. She just plays that music as she goes.
Oh god.
Oh.
Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, so the winners of the raffles, make sure you check your Twitch inbox. If it's not in the inbox, make sure you check the others tab, right?
Yeah.
That's where they think that people are spamming them, so they put that in.
Yeah.
But we're not spamming
We're not
you.
spamming you. We're
trying to
giving you
give
gems.
We're
Yeah.
trying, we're trying to help you out.
That's right.
So, Christian, thank you so much for joining
Thanks
me.
for having me.
I know that the overlay still says the Rumham.
Hey, he's a great guy.
He is a fantastic
go
guy.
to him. Go to his thing.
But that's not him.
And this guy is awesome as well.
Mhm.
That's you, right?
Yeah.
You're this guy.
Uh,
Yeah. Take a compliment.
You have anything you want to shout out on the stream to your 168 loyal viewers?
168 loyal viewers. Thank you so much for joining the Super Magical Cup. Hope to see you guys next weekend. Make sure you join. I mean, yes, you can watch. It's fun to watch, but you clearly love the game. Why don't you join? It's super fun.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely sign up. Spots go very quickly.
Very
and
quickly.
We look for new registrants on Monday at 10 a.m. That's when the sign up for the next Super Magical Cup
That's right.
happens.
That's right.
So every week on Monday at 10 a.m. the sign-ups open, and then every Saturday at 12 p.m. and all of this is PST, is Los Angeles time.
Mm-hmm.
On Saturdays, that's when the tournament is broadcasted and played.
That's right, as you guys just saw.
So, Super Magical Cup number 6 is coming to an end. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I hope you guys had as much fun as we did.
Mm-hmm.
Tune in next week. Rumham will be back.
Yay!
And we'll have more exciting Clash Royale action. All right. See you guys.
Bye!